is known as the Silver State. We are in Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight Posse boss Ron Meyer still has playoff aspirations. If those dreams are to come true, quarterback Anthony Cavillo will need to be the Posse leader. In Winnipeg, Cal Murphy's Bombers have already clinched a playoff spot. And after a 7-game absence because of injury, Matt Dunnigan returns to quarterback the Bomber attack. It's the Posse and the Bombers on the CFL Live. Hoist. He has been a bright spot in the Las Vegas Posse offense. He tried 5 NFL teams before finding a home in the CFL. Curtis Mayfield has already surpassed the 1,000-yard mark in receiving, and his 12 touchdowns is more than all the other Posse receivers combined.
Curtis gives us great leadership due to his outstanding play. His nickname is Cadillac. That's because he really is smooth. He runs these routes to perfection.
This man leads the Bombers with 14 touchdown catches. He's also on track for his 5th 1,000-yard receiving season. With numbers like those, it's a bit of a surprise that in 6 CFL campaigns, Gerald Alphen has never been a league all-star. What he has been, though, is consistent.
Well, I think what he does, he gives us an opportunity to go up the seam for one thing because of his speed and size, and we do run a lot of seam routes, and he's a big target for the quarterback.
It's Alphen against Mayfield. It's the Bombers against the Posse. Coming up next on the CFL Live. Good evening, football fans. Welcome to Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas. I'm Peter Watts. This game was important for the Posse even before the results at Taylor Field and Regina became known. It's now on the critical list for the Las Vegas team. Earlier in the day, the Saskatchewan Roughriders beat the British Columbia Lions 38-27 to move back into the 4th and final playoff spot in the CFL's West Division. As we look at the standings, Calgary, BC, and Edmonton on top. There's Saskatchewan now with 16 points, 1 ahead of Sacramento, and 6 ahead of the Las Vegas Posse. So those two teams will meet next Sunday. That is Las Vegas and Saskatchewan in Regina. But it won't mean very much unless the Posse can beat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here tonight. More on the story now. Here are John Wells and Leif Pedersen.
Oh, we want to try it.
All right, Peter, odds are always a little bit long in Las Vegas, and it appears this CFL gamble has not paid off. The Las Vegas Posse simply haven't been able to draw any fans in spite of the fact that they put together a pretty decent football team.
Well, they have put together a pretty good team. They're a very entertaining team to watch, and I think a lot better than their 5-9 record. But it hasn't been a lot of fun for the players and the coaches here, John. You know, they don't know if they're going to be here next week, let alone next year. And, you know, the players tell me this week that they played in front of bigger crowds in high school. So there hasn't been a lot of excitement, and I think that filters through into the team as well. But, you know, through all of this, they still have a mathematical shot at the playoffs.
Well, the crowd is not going to be in favor of Las Vegas tonight. In fact, it'll likely favor the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who brought quite a few along for the return of Matt Dunnigan after 7 weeks on the sidelines.
Yeah, and about 800 that have come down here from Winnipeg on a charter are looking forward to watching Matt Dunnigan play tonight, and I think it's a great opportunity for Dunnigan. He's now got 4 games left to polish this. They haven't had any hot or quick patterns in with Keith and McCann. They get to put the whole package back into the offense, and they've got 4 weeks to get it ready for the playoffs.
And if you're keeping track of such things, the Bombers are 7-point favorites here in Vegas tonight.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. You know, 2 weeks ago, it was Gerald Alphen who had the big day for Winnipeg against Shreveport, and Gerald Alphen was limited to just 1 catch for a gain of 5 yards. Last week, Alphen had the big game with 4 touchdowns in Shreveport, and Wilcox was shut out for the only time this season. He did not catch a pass. He has 85 catches so far this year. Tonight, with both of them back in the lineup and Matt Dunnigan able to throw the ball, they might be busy. But then again, they might not, depending on the difference that Leif Pedersen has picked out in this ball game this evening.
All right, Leifer, what do you think will be the difference in this one tonight at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas?
Well, John, you know, you look at Las Vegas, and their defensive front seven are really undersized. So I think Winnipeg's going to come out and try and jam it down their throat. So the difference becomes, can Las Vegas stop Winnipeg's really, really solid running game? And if they can, you know, I think they have a good chance to be in this game. If not, I could see Winnipeg just steamrolling them on the ground. And for Jeff Reinbold and Ron Meyer there, who you see, it's been a pretty frustrating kind of year. Not a bad team personnel-wise, but with all the other stuff going on, it's been pretty tough to concentrate at times.
Injuries have been a key factor, too, for the Las Vegas Posse, and likewise for Cal Murphy. But somehow Murphy has battled through this season after losing a couple of quarterbacks and a couple of starting wide receivers. Somehow he's come through and sits atop the Eastern Conference with a record of 10-4.
I thought it was interesting. You asked Cal yesterday what was the most pleasing aspect of this 10-4 season for him so far, and you know, his response was just the way that the team has been able to function with so many guys out like Williams, Dunnigan, Alfred Jackson, Kelvin Smith. I mean, so many, and yet they keep on winning. They have good replacements, and that was the most pleasing aspect of this season for him, and I think he's dead on.
What a run they've really had through the Matt Dunnigan injury period of 7 games, a record of 5 wins and 2 losses through that period, and that has kept Winnipeg right on top of the Eastern Division standings. Now Dunnigan gets back in the lineup, and as you talked about a little bit earlier, fact is he's got 4 weeks to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, there was some talk as to whether he would play tonight. Yesterday, Cal Murphy was playing it pretty close to the vest, and I think that was just to keep the Las Vegas team a little off balance as to who was going to start, because defensively you really would approach each quarterback, McCann and Dunnigan, quite differently. But you know, as Gerald Wilcox said in the warm-up tonight, hey, we need him back now because we really need 4 weeks to get ready for those playoffs. Heck, he's been out for 2 months.
Winnipeg and Las Vegas for the very first time, and possibly, quite likely in fact, for the last. This is Holland on the return for the Blue Bombers out across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Stopped by Don Robinson there. And Matt Dunnigan leads the Bombers out onto the field for the first time in 7 weeks. Tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Speedy Auto Glass. Windshield repair and replacement is a job for the pros. Don't take a chance, take it to Speedy Auto Glass. The numbers on Dunnigan very impressive considering he has missed so much time. Still way up there among the touchdown leaders in Canadian football with 20 as compared to 10 interceptions. So it is 1st and 10 Winnipeg at the 31-yard line, and already some early movements. Might have been Jeff Cummins for Las Vegas getting a quick start there. The referee in charge of proceedings tonight is Jake Ireland. There is the indication, offside, Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, number 32, still first down.
Jesse Becton wears number 32 for the Las Vegas Posse, so it'll be 1st and 5 for the Blue Bombers. Now out across the 35 at the 37.
John, I think it'll be interesting to see what Las Vegas does on defense. I'm sure their package all week long was to try and come with some blitzes against McCann, but now that Dunnigan's in there, I would think that they might change it and play a little softer than they had planned.
Blaze Bryant, and he's out across the 40 to the 41, stopped there by Jesse Becton. In Dunnigan's backfield, Chris Johnstone as always, and Blaze Bryant, an outstanding runner who picked up 4 on the previous carry. The outside receivers, Jamie Holland, and Tim Daniel gets his first start, and the twin Geralds, 86 and 87 inside.
John, as you look at this team, I think one thing you can always count on is some pretty consistent play from this offensive line, and I think they're going to have some fun tonight firing off the ball on some of their run blocking schemes.
2nd and 1 in this situation, and here's Blaze Bryant. Bryant broke 1 tackle. He's out across the 50 to about the 52. Stopped by Maurice Kelly and David Hollis. Bryant has 10 yards. He averages 5.6 yards a carry.
Yeah, pretty good job by Brett McNeil, the left guard, too, opening a hole for Blaze Bryant. And you know, I don't think there's any secret. We mentioned this in the opening that Winnipeg would want to establish the run. Why not? This is an undersized group, a very quick group that they're running against. But hey, this is a powerful offensive line, and you throw in Chris Johnstone, who's an excellent blocking fullback, and it seems just logical that they would do this.
This is Bryant again. A little room to the far side. Stopped by Don Robinson, number 19. Here's the way the Posse lines up defensively with Jeff Sawyer, Jeff Cummins, and Steven Anderson up front. linebacking core has had some changes over the season, but Shante Peoples has been there much of the way. Cedric Crawford and Jesse Becton is one of the newcomers as far as Las Vegas is concerned.
And a secondary that really splits it equally among zone and man-to-man coverage. Davis Hollis in the middle calls all the signals back there, but you know, this is a group that's been prone to giving up the big play.
Dunnigan on 2nd and 7, and he missed Gerald Wilcox that time, number 87. Wilcox, no receptions last week, and he's the 2nd leading receiver in the Canadian Football League. As Peter mentioned, it was Gerald Alphen week against Shreveport, and he had 4 touchdowns.
Well, you have to look at his season overall. Yeah, last week was kind of rough for him, but you know, 85 catches coming into today. Last year was his best year ever as a pro with 79, so you know he has taken his game to another level, and boy, coming off a great year last year to top that is really exceptional for him.
Bob Cameron got it away, and Claiborne waits near his 10-yard line. Paused momentarily and grabbed about 5 yards on the return. Leading the tacklers that time for Winnipeg was number 58, Greg Clark. And Las Vegas will start deep in the Posse zone, led by freshman quarterback Anthony Cavillo. 12 touchdowns compared to 11 interceptions. He had a hotter start than he has been lately.
Yeah, John, I think as you watch Las Vegas tonight, you'll see some tremendous similarities to the Winnipeg offense. They like to throw the throwbacks and like to get the running game going, and you'll see 2 offenses that look pretty much the same.
Cavillo stands in on 1st down, and his arm was hit as he tried to get that one away. Claiborne looked to be the intended receiver. Some changes for the Posse up front. In fact, there are 2 changes along the offensive line. John Volpe and Aubrey Thompson will run the ball for the Posse tonight. Curtis Mayfield outstanding on one side, Claiborne on the other, and inside it's Wembley and Stevens.
And unlike the Bombers, who have a very solid offensive line, this is a group that's been patchworked each week, and their biggest problem, of course, is protecting their quarterback.
This will be 2nd and 10 for the Las Vegas Posse. Cavillo, a straight drop, and fires over the middle, intending it for Michael Stevens, and the slot back couldn't come up with a toss from Cavillo that time, so it's 2 and outs as Cavillo heads to the sidelines.
And as you have a look here, you see Volpe, 22, stays in the backfield. This is one of the problems for Vegas when they have not protected the quarterback that well. They need maximum protection, and of course that means you can't sneak your backs out of the backfield and put some extra receivers out there. So, you know, it poses a bit of a problem offensively that you just can't be as creative as you want to.
Robbie Keane stands on his goal line. We're early in the opening quarter, no score so far. Keane, a high kick coming down to Alan Boyko near the 47, and Boyko makes it back to the 50-yard line, and that's all. Leading the tacklers there, number 35, Greg Tucker. 49-yard punt, 4 yards the return. The Las Vegas Posse and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
By the good folks at Pepsi, who remind you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. By Mark's Work Warehouse, clothes that work.
Well, if you want to get a bet down, this is the time to do it in. And the gamble has really not paid off as far as the Las Vegas Posse are concerned. Ron Myers had a tough year, his toughest year in coaching football, he told us yesterday. And it's more off-field than the problems that he's had on.
Well, you know, he feels that his team could easily be 9-5 instead of 5-9, and you know, I don't disagree with that, but too many distractions. Where's the team going to be? Is there enough money? And that wears on you after a while. I mean, that's not a lot of fun.
This is Dunnigan on 1st down. He's got time, and he's looking deep. Just off target that time. Coverage by David Hollis, number 25, and the intended receiver is Gerald Alphen, number 86. Dunnigan aired that one out a long way.
And all week in practice, Las Vegas was working on just that. Winnipeg loves to roll one way and then throw back down the seam to their slot back. So David Hollis, 25, Jeff Reinbold, his coach, was saying, you stay in the middle, and you're going to make some plays this week. And early in the 1st quarter, he makes a nice one right there.
Pass was not far off the mark. Solid defensive work by David Hollis, number 25. Dunnigan's timing obviously just a little bit off after 7 weeks of inactivity. 2nd and 10 Blue Bombers from the 50. Dunnigan buying some time. Now look for Holland. Or was it Wilcox? Holland and Wilcox both in the area. And Robinson was covering on Gerald Wilcox, number 87. So it'll be third down. And a kicking situation as Bob Cameron comes into the game for the Blue Bombers.
John, the thing I like about the Las Vegas secondary is they really have like 7 and 8 guys that they can rotate and play in there. So, you know, I mean, they're always fresh. I mean, it's a cool night, so nobody's really going to get tired from heat exhaustion out here, obviously. But, I mean, they have 7 guys that are interchangeable, and I think that's a real advantage.
And they are quick back there. This is Claiborne beginning at the 10. And solid special teams work by the Blue Bombers, led by Brendan Rogers, number 35, who became a real favorite of ours a couple of weeks ago when we watched him in that BC game. He was absolutely outstanding on special teams, and he's gunned for this one tonight against all this speed that Las Vegas has.
Well, I think that's really the area of the Bombers that's been elevated in the second half of the season are those special teams. I mean, they blocked 7 punts in the last 6 games, and that is just unbelievable production. And you know, teams just have not been getting any yardage on returns against them.
And again, Las Vegas forced to begin deep in Posse territory, just out across the 10-yard line at about the 12. Cavillo hands off to John Volpe. And Volpe, the former BC running back, can't find much yardage there as he ran smack dab into Lloyd Lewis. Up front for the Blue Bombers, Rush, Mikawas, and Lewis, and that's a fairly formidable front 3, backed up by a speedy core of linebackers. Del Lyle, Greg Clark, Reggie Givens into the Bomber lineup for the second time in a couple of weeks.
And with as much blitzing as Winnipeg does, this is a man-to-man group, but they're so good at coming up and jamming receivers and throwing their timing off.
On 2nd and 10, Cavillo has time, looks for the sideline toss. Intended that for Mayfield, number 89.
And Donald Smith's going to be working against Mayfield a lot tonight, and I asked him what kind of technique he would use in the bump and run, and what he wants to do is stay even with Mayfield, not chase from behind. He said he needs to stay even, exactly as he did right there, so Mayfield can't come over the top of him. Mayfield's had a tremendous year in that bump and run situations going over the top, and I'd say half of those 12 touchdowns have occurred that way, but Donald Smith with pretty interesting technique on that first challenge.
Robbie Keene's first punt was 49 yards. This one is blocked, and the Bombers had a great opportunity to recover it. I'm not sure who finally came up with the ball down there, but Winnipeg's in great shape. Bobby Evans, number 33, looks to have come up with it. We'll check it out down there. Snap was a little bit off, but it was Bobby Evans coming through to block the Keene punt.
Well, what happens, you see Eric Jeter there, number 2. He's challenged by 2 people rushing Keene, the punter, and you know, he really has to make a choice. We'll rush it through here and then freeze it. Okay, there you see Lyles to the outside and then Bobby Evans right through the gap. I mean, that's a stunt that they run, and it works here. Jeter has no idea which one to pick up, and you'll see the result. Bobby Evans gets the block, and a big break for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers early.
And no yards actually called against Las Vegas there, so this punt actually goes into the books as a 1-yard punt and sets the Winnipeg Blue Bombers up 1st and 10 inside the Posse 10-yard line. From the 7-yard line, Dunnigan handing off to Blaze Bryant, and nowhere for Bryant to go as he ran into Maurice Kelly, number 11.
Yeah, Maurice,
second down. Sorry,
John. Maurice Kelly's been the busiest tackler for the Las Vegas Posse this year. You don't like your defensive backs having to make a lot of plays, but he's been a guy that's really been able to, you watch, come and stick his nose right up in there. There's just not enough blockers to handle a defensive back that wants to be this aggressive, and he makes a heck of a play backed up towards his own goal line.
Bombers will be 2nd and goal to go at the Las Vegas 7-yard line. Dunnigan looks to the end zone, and Holland was the intended receiver. He had tight coverage from Eric Gator, number 2. And the Bombers into a punting situation, or a field goal situation.
And John, this really brings up the point that we discussed with Cal Murphy yesterday. And Murphy was a little reluctant on whether to play Dunnigan, but you know, he needs some playing time. By everyone's admission, it was a rusty week at practice, and there's no substitute for some game playing time. And you know, I'm not surprised to see Matt Dunnigan with a rather sluggish start.
Troy Westwood into the game. He leads the CFL kickers with 171 points and hits on 72% of his field goals. And he's 1 for 1 tonight as the Bombers take a lead of 3-0 with 8:14 to go in the opening quarter here in Las Vegas. A lot of Bomber fans on hand. This is CFL Live.
Troy Westwood's field goal has given the Winnipeg Blue Bombers the first points of the ball game. They lead the Las Vegas Posse by 3-0. We talk a lot about Carlos Suerta, the young place kicker for Vegas, who's been just terrific this year. He's got a streak of 18 consecutive field goals going. That's the 4th longest streak in CFL history. Dave Ridgway at 29 over a period of time last year to set the CFL standard. But Mr. Westwood's doing pretty well as well. He's now 17 of his last 19, and after a slow start, he is kicking like the great kicker that Cal Murphy and the Bombers and their fans know he can be.
1st and 10 for the Las Vegas Posse beginning at the 35 after the Westwood field goal. Neither quarterback has completed a pass so far tonight. And that still stands. Mayfield was the intended receiver. And Errol Brown, the Blue Bombers safety, was with him stride for stride. Brown's a pretty good story. Won a job in Winnipeg after coming over from the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
Well, there you see the technique again of Donald Smith. It's not really a chase technique, although Mayfield with his speed does get in behind him. But Smith to the outside, he knows Brown's going to help him out. I mean, that is good technique, knowing the situation and where you can help. Hey, Donald Smith, to me, is one of the best and most solid corners in the league.
This will be 2nd and 10 Las Vegas from the 35. John Volpe. And Volpe is stopped short of a first down as Reggie Givens moves up to make the tackle. Looked like Volpe had a little bit more of an opening and enough to get the first down for the Las Vegas Posse, but he comes up about 1.5 yards shy.
Volpe was telling me the other day with the changes in the offensive line, they really only have 2 running plays that they're going to use, you know, like serious running plays, not draws or anything, off tackle right and left, so they're pretty limited.
Here's Robbie Keane standing back at the 28-yard line. His last one was blocked, and he gets behind this one. Boyko at the Bomber 25, and he ducks under one tackle and makes it out near the 30-yard line. Stopped by Judd Garrett, number 33, 5-yard return
with the initial tackle for Las Vegas
after a 42-yard punt. So let's see what Matt Dunnigan can do on this sequence. He has yet to complete a pass.
Don't forget, coming up at halftime,
Bombers in front 3-0 with 7:09 to play in the opening quarter. Dunnigan has Tim Daniel to the near side. Jamie Holland flanked to the far side of the field on 1st and 10 at the 30. Some early movement, and markers are down as Dunnigan fires to the far side. He'll have a first down on the connection with Holland over there. Holland forced out by Don Robinson.
You know, the question was brought up yesterday with Jamie Holland and Tim Daniel, the starting wide receivers tonight. How come they don't catch any more balls? And I think it's a pretty simple answer to that. One of the local media brought up the question. When you got Alfin and Wilcox, you're a team that works inside out, not outside in as a quarterback. And consequently, Jamie Holland, you know, won't have seasons like a Ray Alexander or somebody like that where they're going to get 10, 12 balls thrown their way per game.
That was his 31st catch of the season. A 15-yard gain and another first down for Winnipeg as Dunnigan looks to make it 2 in a row, and this time went to the new wide receiver on the far side of the field, Tim Daniel. Eric Jeter was covering on Daniel. .745 yards receiving for Alfin, 14 touchdowns. It's a nice standard.
Well, yeah, you know, every 3.9 catches, he gets it into the end zone. I mean, that's a phenomenal ratio for him and his 14 touchdowns, second only to Alan Pitts, who's having a phenomenal year with the Stampeders.
2nd and 10, Blue Bombers at the 45. Dunnigan buys a little time, and he has Alfin once more. Maurice Kelly makes the stop, and Alphen has 21 yards. Offensive player of the week in Canadian football last week.
And I think what helps these two Geralds so much is their size, and see how he takes the outside hip of Mo Kelly and turns him around and works into the middle. But I mean, when you're looking over the middle as a quarterback and you have these two receivers that are both over 6'3", it's a pretty comforting thought because it's so easy to find them.
Bomber first down at the 44 of Las Vegas. Dunnigan to his right this time and looking deep for the newcomer. What a catch! Did he hang on? He did. What a great catch all the way down to the one for Tim Daniel. 43 yards, and Daniel out of view for a moment, but he made a great catch.
Yeah, what a vintage throw by Matt Dunnigan, rolling to his right, the easiest side to throw on the rollout, and he just lets it rip. And boy, Daniel, what an adjustment at the end. He just stretches out at the last second. I mean, Jeter had pretty good coverage there, but that's just a heck of a catch. Tim Daniel, 4.4 speed. He runs good routes in practice. The only thing they were really wondering whether his hands would hold up during a game, but I think they've answered that question in a hurry.
Yeah, rather quickly. That's the first ever catch in Canadian football for Tim Daniel. A 43-yarder to set the Bombers up. First and goal to go from there, and Blaze Bryant has the touchdown. 10th touchdown of the season for Blaze Bryant. And it looked easy there, but the play was set up on a wonderful catch by Tim Daniel.
Well, John, it took a couple of series for Matt Dunnigan to get going, and that one was a pretty quick drive, but I think you saw a comfortable pass down the sidelines, and then they just hammer away with Blaze Bryant, some solid blocking up front. Look at Chris Johnstone kick out on the outside linebacker. I believe that's Greg Tucker, 35, and that's a pretty easy trip into the end zone from the 1-yard line.
Yeah, Bryant in untouched, and the convert is added by Westwood as the Bombers add to their lead. It's 10-0. Winnipeg leading Las Vegas. First ever meeting between these two teams in Vegas. The Bombers celebrate on the sidelines. Blaze Bryant has the first Blue Bomber touchdown. Look how easy it looked here.
Well, you always go to the blackboard during the week and you say, well, these are some plays we think we can run in short yardage. We're going to show you after the kickoff return, but it was done to perfection. You're right, John.
This is Robert Claiborne, and he's dropped at the 25. Now, take a look at the touchdown.
Draw a little picture here for you of just how easy this touchdown was by Blaze Bryant. Hey, this is perfection. The center, Van Conant on the linebacker, Crawford. Double team on Steven Anderson right here. Kick out block by Chris Johnstone on Greg Tucker. And when you get blocking like that, you'll see how easy it was for Blaze Bryant.
No one laid a hand on him, and the Blue Bombers into a 10-0 lead on Bryant's 10th touchdown of the season. We'll see if the Posse can respond beginning here at the 25-yard line. First down. Cavillo looking to his left and looking deep and well over the head of his intended receiver and favorite target, Curtis Mayfield. Donald Smith with Mayfield. Had Dunnigan engineering a rather impressive scoring drive to get the Bombers into the end zone for the first time. Dunnigan good on 3 of 4 for 79 yards, and then it took only 5 plays. Bryant finished it off with a 1-yard rush. Key reception by the Bomber newcomer, Tim Daniel, for 43 yards. Second and 10, Vegas. Cavillo has time, looks over the middle, and again, off target. Prince Wembley III was the closest Posse receiver to the football. And the injured player appears to be the quarterback.
Well, he took a pounding. The Winnipeg front group had a team meeting right at Anthony Cavillo, and boy, oh boy. They don't move the pocket around a lot, and that becomes a problem. This defensive front for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, they kind of know where to find him in a hurry. Well, you think after 10 years a guy might slow down, but how about Lloyd Lewis right here? And he's working on Hayward Haynes right here, and you get Mikowicz with a good push up the middle, and boy, Cavillo pays the price here. This group, they are a pretty tenacious front four, but Lloyd Lewis, he really sets the tone day after day in practice with his work habits and really sets a good example for everyone else.
And no wonder Cavillo missed his target. Look at the pressure there. Also in on it was number 58 Greg Clark, and Kelly Rush was supplying a little rush himself.
Well, you know, John, a lot of times the key to this pass rush is the push that Stan Mikowicz gets up the middle, and you know there's no place for Cavillo to bail out from. And you know I've always maintained that in a four-man rush you're only as good as your push up the middle, because that just doesn't allow the quarterback to step up there.
Cavillo 0 for 6 so far tonight. And Ron Meyer will look to Preston Jones or Len Williams, listed as the backup if Cavillo can't respond here on the next sequence. But meantime, it's Robbie Keane's turn on 3rd down. Keane has been punting from deep in his own zone all evening long. This time he gets it across the 15-yard line. High kick, not deep. Boyko up to claim it across the 50, and he's nailed almost immediately. Markers are down. 33-yard punt as Greg Tucker led the tacklers for Las Vegas, and a return of a couple for Boyko. Dunnigan with a hot hand on the last sequence in particular. 3 of 4 for 79 yards.
Las Vegas number 26.
On the night, 3 of 8 for 79. And the penalty is going against the Las Vegas Posse for no yards. So the Bombers again come up with great field position, already inside the 45 of Vegas.
Yeah, and you're asking for trouble as a defense, and when you set a team like Winnipeg up in scoring position like this, you know, you get to play on a small field. And this is a small field to begin with, but literally it's a short field now.
About 3 yards narrower than standard CFL width. Dunnigan has plenty of room in the middle, however, and another Winnipeg first down as Gerald Wilcox makes the catch for 18 yards. David Hollis made the tackle on Wilcox.
Well, Wilcox, who was shut out last week, figures in early here. Watch this. You know, Elfman will cut underneath for him, and then, whoa, lots of room up in that area for Wilcox. And with Matt Dunnigan getting the protection that he is getting, you know, you're talking about a long night for Las Vegas. One of the few times they've been in zone so far, and just nobody close to him.
And Dunnigan looks to the end zone, and he's got him. Holland makes the touchdown catch. Jamie Holland, a 25-yard reception. Second touchdown of the season for Jamie Holland. 25 yards, Matt Dunnigan to Jamie Holland, and Dunnigan has been hot lately.
You don't think the fans in Winnipeg are a little excited to see their #1 quarterback now? This was vintage. Roll to the wide side of the field. Boom. Throwback. Dunnigan knows where he's going all the way, and he's just expecting Holland to beat Jeter. And boy, he does with a superb catch. Poor Jeter. He's been burned twice now in pretty solid coverage, but guys have been making great catches on him.
You can hardly blame Jeter for the coverage there. Dunnigan threaded the needle.
Well, I think one thing you might have to question, though, Jeter's been burned on one side by Tim Daniel. Then they ask him to go play corner on the other side, you know, opposite technique, and he's been beaten on that side. Now, pretty good coverage, but I think you're asking a lot of a corner to keep switching them from side to side.
Matt Dunnigan has engineered 17 Blue Bomber points in the opening quarter. Still 2:37 to go. Anthony Cavillo is shaking the cobwebs loose on the other side of the field.
And it's a real tough position for Las Vegas. You know, they're struggling at 5-9. They played a pretty solid game in Baltimore last week, but, you know, a few turnovers. The opening kickoff, they fumble, and Baltimore scored. And then late in the game, driving for a touchdown, Volpe coughs up the ball. So, I mean, they were in it, but little mistakes just killed them. And now, all of a sudden, a week later, you're down 17-0 in the first quarter. It's kind of tough to come back from all that.
Dunnigan, a two-play, 43-yard drive for the touchdown to Jamie Holland. His second of the season, a 25-yard reception. And it was a thing of beauty for Matt Dunnigan. Too deep for Las Vegas. This is Hollis. Tries to find a little room outside, and it's a little narrow here on the sidelines as Brendan Rodgers runs Hollis into the wall. 14-yard return. Pete?
Anthony Cavillo remains on the sidelines for the Las Vegas Posse. Took a blow to the head area on that last series. He's a little woozy. He's got some ice on the back of his head, and the medical people will evaluate him for a series or two, and we'll see if he's able to return.
So in the meantime, the Posse go to Preston Jones, a 57.9% passer so far this season. He hands off to John Volpe, and that's over in a hurry as Rob Davidson slashed through to make the tackle, number 69. Davidson in a backup role, but gets to see quite a bit of action in the Winnipeg scheme of things. Preston Jones out of the University of Georgia. He was the third string quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles in 1993. Lost 5 yards in the previous play. Jones puts this one up, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Lawrence Hatch, number 29. That ball floated, and Hatch has his first.
It's the bike cat right here, listener.
Well, here you see Mayfield up here, and this is the favorite pattern that they like to run is the fade, but Lawrence Hatch just stays right on the inside hip, and then when the ball is in the air, he just reacts to it. Look, he's looking back into the backfield right now, and you know, when Preston Jones' first pass is underthrown like that, he's in perfect position. Mayfield couldn't get back to fight for it, but how about that? 4 interceptions. What, this his third game?
Yeah. 3 interceptions in his previous 2 games, and he has his first of the night here tonight. And oh, Wilcox had it roll off his fingertips. Alfie Birch supplying the coverage, and Dunnigan didn't miss a key target by very much.
Well, you know, Matt Dunnigan, he just wants to just keep pouring it on at this point in time, and with the middle wide open once again, that's the area vacated by Hollis. That's, you know, you're only going to get about 5 or 6 maybe good shots for the home run. That was one of them. I think Matt Dunnigan would like to have it back. That was definitely a home run shot.
Tim Daniel to the near side. Holland to the far side of the field on 2nd and 10. Loose ball, and Dunnigan can't get back to it. Recovered by Shante Peoples for the Las Vegas Posse. So the exchange between Dunnigan and Bryant didn't work out that time, and the Posse have the first turnover here.
Yeah, this is once again a little rusty. Blaze Bryant maybe being used to the way McCann did it for 6 or 7 weeks. Now all of a sudden Dunnigan back in, and these are some of the things that they're going to have to work out. But what a break for the Posse. Down 17-zip, they get a turnover in really good field position. And you know, I think if they want to make a game of it, they got to take advantage of it right now.
Posse inside, or at least to the Bomber side of the field at the 53 on the turnover, and complete there. Preston Jones to Prince Wembley III. Short of the first down, but more than halfway there. Daryl Sampson made the tackle.
Yeah, one of the things I just love about the 2 inside halfbacks for Winnipeg, Sampson and Bobby Evans, is just how willing they are to come up and challenge receivers. My, oh my, they play so tightly, and then, of course, when Wembley catches it, Sampson right there with the solid hit. They're very aggressive.
Gain is 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Las Vegas Posse set up at the Winnipeg 46-yard line. And under the cover this time, it'll be a first down, Las Vegas. Solid run after making the catch by James Hill, number 34. Stopped by Reggie Gibbons. So Preston Jones is 2 for his last 2.
Pretty good matchup. You get Hill out of the backfield, full stride, working on the linebacker. Nice easy pass for Preston Jones to complete, and best looking offensive play they've had tonight.
This one may come back. It was a 27-yard gain. Hang on, it's the end of the quarter. I saw them marching the other way. It is a 27-yard gain and a Las Vegas Posse first down when we return to Las Vegas. The Blue Bombers out in front, 17-0. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where there are a lot of Winnipeg Blue Bomber fans in the audience. How about this for a sign? TSN, the Teemu Solani network. Not quite right now, anyway, with the labor strife in the National Hockey League. Hopefully that'll be over one of these days soon, and we'll get back to some NHL hockey. Tonight, CFL football from Vegas. The Blue Bombers lead the Posse 17-0, but Las Vegas set up inside the Winnipeg 20-yard line with a 1st and 10. Preston Jones at quarterback, looking for the end zone. Touchdown! What a great catch. Michael Stevens turned around and made the catch on a great toss of 18 yards by Preston Jones.
Well, John, they needed something good to happen off that turnover, the fumble, and they take advantage of it quickly. Preston Jones, hey, this is not the greatest pass you're ever going to see, but what it is just a fantastic adjustment to the football by Michael Stevens, who I think can be a tremendous receiver in this league. And he was at the camp of the Kansas City Chiefs, a final cut, and got the great size, 6'2", about 210. Boy, did he adjust to the football nicely there, and Vegas is on the board.
Carlos Huerta cuts the Blue Bomber lead to 10 points. And after the turnover, Preston Jones came in relief of Anthony Cavillo, the man to his right, who was shaken up and is still seeing stars down there. Jones to Stevens. First touchdown of the night for the Posse.
Yeah, look at the adjustment right there. Daryl Sampson has no chance on that one. You know, Michael Stevens, he went to small college, Nevada, Reno, and you know, in his last year he caught 80 balls, which was third in the U.S. for college receivers. He was just at such a small program. He was drafted late by Kansas City and was one of their late cuts, but this is his 7th game, and I remember seeing him about 6 weeks ago when he first came, and well, I watched him on film against Sacramento, and he did so many things well that I thought, heck, this guy's got a chance to be a good one. And chatting with the coaches and watching him in practice the other day, looks like he's got the whole package. And 3 plays, 52 yards. Preston Jones gets the Las Vegas Posse on the scoreboard, and what was that, a much-needed touchdown.
After the turnover, Las Vegas around midfield, drove in for the touchdown. Dunnigan and Blaze Bryant bobbled an exchange. And there's the hero of the moment in Las Vegas, Michael Stevens. 3rd touchdown of the season.
Las Vegas.
You know what you have to like about Stevens, too? He's averaging over 23 yards a reception. And, you know, when it's so tough in this league, as a team that likes to run just a lot of drop-back passing, you know, sometimes your sight lines are impaired downfield. But for Stevens, with his height at well over 6'2", that he becomes an added weapon with that size of his.
Ron Meyer breathing a little easier, but he's still got a 10-point deficit to erase against the Blue Bombers. Carlos Huerta getting ready for the kickoff after the Posse touchdown. Across the 30 to about the 32. James Hill, number 34, to make the tackle. 13-yard return. And here comes Dunnigan. Numbers from the opening quarter, 7 first downs for the Blue Bombers compared to 1 for Las Vegas. In net yards, 28 for the Posse compared to 137. A turnover each, and the Bombers led the time of possession there. Dunnigan on first down. Little jump pass for Johnstone, and he was met immediately by number 39. Tim Brody. Argonauts and the Rough Riders, key game. And we'll have that for you from Ottawa, 7 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow, as the Argos try and nail down a playoff spot, and the Ottawa Rough Riders are just a win behind Hamilton and Shreveport, bringing up the rear in the CFL East. Gain of 1 yard. This is 2nd and 9. And Dunnigan far side. Behind his intended receiver, Tim Daniel, number 81. Al Jordan, number 27, covering on Daniel that time. Jordan is the only player in this Las Vegas Posse roster to have played every game at the same position.
Yeah, they've really had a lot of injuries. Hey, everybody's had them, but when you're a young team, I think it becomes even more difficult.
Bob Cameron back at the 20-yard line. Claiborne moves up at the 41, and he's he's met by the first man upfield, Chris Sangaris, number 92. Solid special teams work by the Blue Bombers, who continue to lead at 17-7. Winnipeg leading Las Vegas on CFL Live. Welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. Part of today's game brought to you by Subway. Las Vegas Posse fell behind 17-0. Came back after a turnover and got on the scoreboard for the first time.
Now there's a good buddy of mine, Jeff Reinbold, who handles the secondary for the Las Vegas Posse, as long as all the special teams, giving Mo Kelly, number 11, some encouragement on the sidelines. Pretty upbeat guy, Jeff, all the time. But as anyone might understand, a little concerned as to the future of this club, where it will be a year from now. Cal Murphy, boy, oh boy, his team rounding into form so nicely. And, you know, with Baltimore playing Edmonton tomorrow, they'll be watching the tube when they get home. They're chartering out of here tonight, and we'll get in early in the morning. And I would say there'll be a full team watching that game tomorrow very closely.
Baltimore and Winnipeg set for a late season matchup a couple of weeks down the road. Should be a battle for top spot. In trouble and down. Reggie Gibbons got to Preston Jones, number 5. Jones in at quarterback with Cavillo shaking the cobwebs on the sidelines. Jones engineering the first touchdown drive for the Posse here tonight.
Well, one of the problems when you pump it now, boom, it's got to be gone right there. And it just took a little long to develop. Reggie Gibbons gets in with the sack. But, you know, once you pump fake one side, it means you look back to the other. You better be ready to deliver it. Pretty solid coverage downfield, enabled Gibbons to make the sack.
Loss of 5, 2nd and 15, Las Vegas. Back at the 35. Jones away from Clark and barely got that one away. Prince Wimbley III was in the area, but really had no chance.
Well, Winnipeg came into this game tonight, John, assuming that they could really put some heat on the Vegas quarterbacks. And, you know, although that's pretty good, solid protection right there, Vegas is just having trouble getting open downfield. And this is as much a coverage sack as anything else. 56, Del Lyles is in there with 4, Reggie Gibbons. And, boy, when you play Winnipeg, you always know they're going to bring some linebackers. But tonight it seems like they're coming on every play with these young quarterbacks.
And it's a quick linebacking core assembled by Cal Murphy.
And it's a linebacking core that has really improved in the last 5 weeks.
This is Alan Boyko ready to return. Good special teams coverage by the Posse. A very quick group on special teams in particular. And leading the way, David Hollis, number 25, along with number 26, Nick Smith. Dunnigan ready to go to work. Decent field position out across the 35 at the 36. Dunnigan good on 6 of 13 for 123 yards. 1 touchdown toss to Jamie Holland. From the 37, Blaze Bryant grabbed as he crossed the 40-yard line. Slowed from behind by Steven Anderson.
Well, Blaze Bryant's had a pretty solid year. 3rd in the Canadian Football League, rushing the football. Only Mike Pringle in Baltimore and Corey Philpott with the BC Lions are ahead of Blaze Bryant. What I like about him is his ability to just stay on the fannies of that big offensive line, and then when he sees a hole, he's got that terrific burst. You know, he's 205 pounds, very solid in the upper body. He is a tough guy to tackle.
Gain is 4. This is 2nd and 6, and Dunnigan is on target. Will they have a first down? Dunnigan connecting with Gerald Alphen and Tim Bronte in on the tackle. Little desert breeze is kicking up a little bit here.
John, the tough thing, and I mean, here you got Alphen here working on Kelly, and as he comes in here, you'll see, hey, Kelly's got pretty good coverage, but it goes back to what we talked about earlier. This is the size factor. Hey, how can you work around 6'3", 215 when you're Mo Kelly, who's undersized, to defend him? And, you know, the slot backs for Winnipeg use that size to their advantage so often.
Dunnigan Michigan is driving the Bombers into a stiff breeze that has just picked up. Here's Blaze Bryant, and Bryant gets across the 50. He's down more than halfway to a first down, 5 yards. Well, 5 and a bit, but hard running by Blaze Bryant.
You know, it's so tough. You talk to defensive linemen and linebackers and you say, well, how do you stop Blaze Bryant? And they say, well, it's so difficult because he hides in behind that big offensive line. And, you know, you can't arm tackle him, but that's what happens to a defense so many times that, you know, they're trying to get off their block, but they can't find where Bryant is.
2nd and 5 facing the Bombers now. 10:03 to go till halftime with Winnipeg in front. 17-7. Bryant again. Penalty marker down. Far side of the field. Tim Bronte in on the tackle one more time. Number 39 for the Las Vegas Posse.
Well, John, how do you think the expansion teams have been doing this year record-wise? Let's have a look at them right here. Obviously, Baltimore, the class of the pack right there at 10-4, and Shreveport on the other end of the spectrum. But when you look at Las Vegas, you know, as far as expansion teams, they have done reasonably well.
Offside. Winnipeg number 87. Decline. 3rd down.
And then there was Shreveport.
Yeah, it's been a struggle. We got Shreveport next week in Calgary.
Yeah, I don't like the Pirates' chances.
We have them the week after that in Toronto. Do you like them any better then?
I don't like them a whole bunch there either.
Are you saying you don't like them at all?
I haven't seen too much to like about the Shreveport Pirates so far this season. It has been a bit of a circus down there in Louisiana from the very start. Bob Cameron into the breeze, and look at this hang up. Claiborne comes up, fields it on the run, caught it actually twice and drew a flag. Looked like Bobby Evans, number 33, was in that 5-yard area.
Greg Clark with the initial tackle.
Tackle made by Del Lyles, number 56.
Well, a pretty heads-up play by Robert Claiborne to come up and take that catch, not let the ball hit the ground. He knows even if he fumbles it, he's got Bobby Evans trapped on the no yards call. Pretty heads-up play.
32-yard punt into the breeze.
Number 33.
First down, Las Vegas when we return. The Bombers lead it 17-7. It was dead calm when we began this football evening at Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, but the wind is whipping around here now.
And I'll tell you, the temperatures dropped like a stone here in Las Vegas. Here we are up here. Now, this is Vegas. I'm supposed to be in shirt sleeves tonight, and look at this. We got the sweaters on.
Now, you've got a sweater on. I'm not wearing a sweater. This isn't chilly yet.
He brought the antifreeze with him from Winnipeg. He's all right.
This is pretty warm. As a native of Winnipeg, I mean, you get accustomed to a little bit colder temperature than this, so a Vegas night like this is not chilly to a Winnipegger. 1st and 10 for the Posse. Tough running inside. Lloyd Lewis. Stopping James Hill, number 34. Gain is 4 yards. 2nd and 6 coming up. Las Vegas Posse down by 10. 9:05 till halftime. Jones just got it away, and he finds John Volpe on the far side. Volpe is given a rough ride out of bounds by Bobby Evans and Paul Randolph. And there is not a great deal of room on the far side of the field, and there's even less on the near side as Volpe is hurt down there.
Yeah, and I don't like that look, John. He reached right down for the left knee, and well, boy, you just run out of room in a hurry here, and he just took a pounding, and awful lot of concern for Ron Meyer, Ron Smeltzer, Harry Justvig, all the coaches over there. Pretty good release by Preston Jones and a good read to get it to Volpe quickly in the flat. Winnipeg coming with the heat, and Volpe with his speed just gets Paul Randolph can't stay with him. There you see the perfectly legal hit by Bobby Evans. It's just that the sideline is so close. Well, I think Paul Randolph rolled over his knee on the way down, too.
Looked like the injury happened on the sideline, not as if he'd rolled into the wall on the far side, and Volpe's had a tough time, playing in only 3 games since joining the Las Vegas Posse. And it looks like he may be done for this evening here. 17-7, Blue Bombers in the lead. This is CFL Live. Running back John Volpe of the Las Vegas Posse in a great deal of pain on the far side of the field. Volpe has been hard hit by injuries since having an outstanding season. Member of the British Columbia Lions, he was Rookie of the Year. Lions losing to the Saskatchewan Roughriders today, 38-27 to keep the Western playoff race a little more interesting.
Well, it puts pressure right back on the Sacramento Gold Miners. They are now 1 point behind. They're in Shreveport.
Yeah, you see the pressure is relieved rather quickly. The Gold Miners.
I guess it could be. Yeah, that's pretty good race in the Western Conference. You look at the top spot, Calgary out in front, and the BC Lions. So Calgary can really distance themselves from Edmonton and BC with a win this weekend over Hamilton.
They're going to need the golf cart to get John Volpe into the dressing room for some medical attention.
Now you look at Las Vegas. They had Kalen Hall, who was really playing well at the beginning of the season, a running back. Boom, he's got knee injury. Then they had Zed Robinson, who came in, and boy, he went on fire for 3 games. Knee injury gone, and all of a sudden now John Volpe. So hey, listen, Ron Meyer and his coaches don't want to make any excuses through injuries, but when you're a young team and you have starters going down, I mean, it becomes a little more difficult than if you're a veteran team and you kind of work a few new guys in here. But I think for Ron Meyer, I mean, his back has been against the wall all season long.
Well, certainly it has. And he's worked new guys in at every position and then been hit by injuries. So he's got very little experience on this Las Vegas Posse team. John Volpe, one of the players who had CFL experience, got into the lineup. He was injured a while back and has played just 3 games for Las Vegas. He is injured and headed to the dressing room one more time. But he did get a first down before going out, as Las Vegas tries to convert another one. Preston Jones intending it for Curtis Mayfield, and Donald Smith seems to be winning that duel. Mayfield against Smith.
And John, what the front 7 of Winnipeg are just saying right now is, hey, Preston Jones has come in the game. He's not overly mobile and a little bit slow getting rid of the football. So the linebackers are coming, I think, with even more enthusiasm than they did in the first quarter. And boy, Preston Jones took a good shot from 58, Greg Clark. Well, you look at a secondary, I mean, there is no weak link here. You always look at, can we pick on somebody? There's nobody you can pick on this team.
2nd and 10 for the Posse. Drop play to Hill. James Hill, number 34, into the ball game for John Volpe. Stan Mikowas, number 77, in on the tackle.
Well, I think it gets awfully tough for the offensive coordinator, Ron Smeltzer, and also Harry Justvig, the quarterback coach, who calls all the plays from the sidelines. Hey, what do you call against this defense? I mean, Winnipeg's having a pretty good, solid night on defense here. Donald Smith makes the good play. Now you try and run the draw, and you really don't get much. So, it becomes difficult. How do you attack it?
Here's Carlos Huerta, who has been good on 18 of his last 18 field goals. This one will be spotted at the 55.5-yard line. Wide. He doesn't make his 19th in a row. But it was a pretty good try with a stiff breeze at his back. Huerta's longest on the season, 54. And he had enough leg in that one, but was just off the target.
Well, and to his credit, I mean, that would have been a phenomenally long field goal. But you know what I like about Huerta, and this is how I judge kickers. Hey, yeah, he had 18 straight, but think of this. 13 of the 18 were from 35 yards plus, and 5 were outside of 50. So, I mean, when you start measuring kickers, what is their accuracy outside the 35-yard line? This guy's terrific.
And so is Matt Dunnigan with a hot hand going here tonight on first down. Dunnigan comes back to the near side, and Holland makes the catch. Got away from one defender, number 27, Al Jordan, and then was stopped by Don Robinson. Good move by Holland to get away from Jordan.
I think Jamie Holland's really worked himself nicely into this lineup. Heck, he had to replace David Williams. Pretty big shoes to fill, but slowly he's just come on and on. That's his 32nd catch of the year. Heck, he's got 6 years NFL experience.
13-yard gain, and Dunnigan looks to the other side this time. Solid catch over there by Wilcox, number 87. Wilcox in front of Maurice Kelly.
I think you've seen Dunnigan here. He throws a little bit low to Wilcox, and on a previous play in the first quarter, he completely overthrew him. And there is a challenge to this field here at Stan Boyd Stadium. It's got a very high crown in the middle of the field, about 18 inches higher than the sidelines. Pretty terrific numbers by Gerald Wilcox. But, you know, you look as a quarterback and the adjustments you have to make to this stadium. From throwing from the middle of the field, you're much higher than you are at your home park, and it's kind of tough for a quarterback coming in here for the first time.
So with that crown, short quarterbacks are at a bit of a disadvantage.
Well, I think they have
to see over the hill.
Well, they make yeah.
You can't see that from our vantage point up here, but you can see it down in the field. Little pitch ahead for Blaze Bryant, and here he goes. Bryant inside the 25-yard line and stopped there by Alfie Birch, number 24.
Alfie Birch on the tackle. First down, Winnipeg.
Bombers in front, 17-8. 6:16 to go till halftime. At one point, Dunnigan had a 17-0 lead.
For all your specialty and promotional needs, give Spectrum.
Good opportunity here for the Bombers to come away with points after an 18-yard gain there. Winnipeg set up at the 21-yard line. 1st and 10. Dunnigan looks to buy a little extra time. Jeff Cummings was applying the pressure there. And Dave Van Conant was the closest Blue Bomber receiver.
Yeah, he turned into the fullback in a hurry, didn't he? Matt Dunnigan tried to hit him with a pass.
He hit him with it.
Well, initially Dunnigan wanted to go to Blaze Bryant in the flat. It just wasn't there, and plan B was not open, so Van Conant becomes the alternative. He is obviously the most...
He could have had that. He could have made that catch.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't, because he's ineligible. He couldn't have.
I understand that, but it was almost there. Van Conant, Eastern Conference All-Star at center. Some early movement, and that should draw flags. It does. Van Conant really the unsung hero of the Bombers offensive line. Chris Walby and Miles Gurrell, two great veterans, seem to get talked about quite frequently when the Bombers offensive line is mentioned, but Van Conant, a 4-year starter, has really turned into a great center.
Las Vegas number 99, still 2nd down.
Jeff Cummins, a little early movement there. It'll be 2nd down and 5 now.
Yeah, and here's where I would love to see play action. You know, 2nd and 5. Las Vegas is probably digging down, thinking, wow, they're just going to jam it down our throats here, 2nd and 5. They can play 3-down kind of football here, and play action to me would just be the perfect call.
From the 15, 2nd and 5, and this will be a 1st down Winnipeg as Wilcox makes another catch. Number 87 rolled out of bounds by Maurice Kelly, number 11.
Yeah, what happens when you're a guy coming into a game with 85 catches is you get a lot of respect from the teams you're going to play against and the defensive backs you're going to play against. Like, you're down in the scoring zone, and Mo Kelly was just giving Wilcox all kinds of room.
7-yard gain for Wilcox, setting the Bombers up 1st and goal to go at the 9, and on target is Dunnigan. Another Blue Bomber touchdown to Gerald Alphin.
And that's too easy, John.
Gerald Alphin.
You know, when you're backed up in your own end zone, you really got to come up and challenge these receivers, make them really work hard to get open and to get the possible touchdown catch. But, you know, the previous one to Wilcox was so easy, and now Alphin, the same pattern to the other side of the field. Don Robinson just did not challenge at all. Here, look at this. Robinson's giving him about 7-8 yards here, and really, there's the jam. But, boy, if you're going to jam, you better come up and really jam him hard. Once again, it's the size factor. Wilcox and Alphin, you know, they outweigh their defensive backs by so much.
Wilcox with 4 last week is 1st of the night here, and the Blue Bombers out in front. 24-8 on the Las Vegas Posse after the field goal by Troy Westwood. Gerald Alphin has the touchdown reception. CFL Player of the Week.
Hey, now, John, you want to see how Matt Dunnigan celebrates a touchdown pass as he's come back? He's so excited to get in the action again. Okay, now he's going to come down here. This is pretty good. Stop, let it go just a little bit farther. And, hey, Chris Walby's a pretty tall guy. So Dunnigan, he wants to give him the old bonk on the head, but watch how high he's got to jump up to do it. I mean, this takes athletic ability. Hey, not every quarterback is even willing to do that, let alone get up there to do it to your offensive lineman.
And that jump was unassisted.
Hey, he is a linebacker in a quarterback's body.
It's been
or
said
quarterback in a linebacker's body.
Yeah, that's been said a time or two about this guy.
Wow,
he is a competitor, and he has been outstanding in his years in Canadian football.
But, you know, you talk about, you know, we always say receivers and defensive backs with good vertical leap. Matt had pretty good vertical leap to get up to Chris Walby there.
This is Claiborne ready to return for the Las Vegas Posse. Little seam opens up, and he's got decent run out near the 40-yard line with 4:32 to go till halftime. 6-play scoring drive covering 62 yards. And Gerald Alphin on the receiving end of a 9-yard touchdown strike from Matt Dunnigan. Dunnigan has tossed for a couple. Blaze Bryant has run one in from the 1-yard line.
You know, John, I really think the Las Vegas secondary is showing a little too much respect for these two inside receivers from Winnipeg. Yeah, they're good, but you got to shoot your shot when you play against guys like this, and I think they have to be a lot more aggressive, come up and really give them a smack if they can, and you know, just take their chances that way.
Preston Jones in at quarterback for the Posse. Can't find a receiver now. Looked for Claiborne and overthrew him. The wind might have made that ball sail just a little bit, but Jones was in fact scrambling and firing on the run.
And one of the toughest things to do against the Winnipeg defense is to get off the jam. And, you know, John alluded to the wind. Yeah, it's really kicked up here in the second quarter. But as a receiver for Las Vegas, you have to expect that you're going to be challenged early by this secondary. And, you know, it makes you work doubly as hard to get open.
2nd and 10, Las Vegas. Jones to the far side, and the receiver didn't turn around in time. That's number 34, James Hill. Let's bring in Peter Watts.
The word from the locker room on John Volpe is not good. It's ligament damage for sure. He is done for the night. The word on Anthony Cavillo is marginally more optimistic. He will not play anymore in the first half. They want to evaluate the concussion that they believe he suffered there late in the first quarter, and they'll see how he feels at the halftime. He may see some action in the second half. Preston Jones hasn't done all that bad since coming into the ball game for Las Vegas.
He's engineered the only touchdown for Las Vegas so far. Now a high snap on 3rd down. Here's Robbie Keane back for it. He's nailed at the 15-yard line. The ball squirted loose after that, but it was ruled dead as Keane was down. Ken Burris in on the tackle after the high snap eluded Robbie Keane. More problems for the head coach, Ron Meyer, and more worries.
Well, that's tough. No way Keane could handle that one, and then he's just got no shot here. Burris coming full steam along with 3 Errol Brown, and once again a mistake gives Matt Dunnigan a pretty short field to work on.
A very short field, like 16 yards. Dunnigan has to reach the Las Vegas end zone on 1st down. Dunnigan to his right, and it should have been picked off, but it wasn't. Maurice Kelly, number 11. Poor Ron. The turnover almost turned right back. Maurice Kelly should have made this game.
Yeah, here's Wilcox, and as he gets in behind Mo Kelly, just sits in that area right there. He plays it perfectly. Only one thing wrong.
He didn't catch the ball. Look at this.
Yeah, you got it. Boy, he was in perfect position here.
They dream about that for a month or two.
Well, he's got 4 interceptions already. The team leader in that department.
Dunnigan on 2nd and 10. Looks to the far side again, and this time it's Wilcox unable to hang on to the ball.
Well, Las Vegas was lucky there. They made a coverage breakdown, and Wilcox wide open, but he must have looked at Kelly.
I think he watched Kelly. So they'll escape at least a Winnipeg touchdown. Apparently these are former Posse cheerleaders who are on the unemployment line these days, but still here working the games.
That's not
he's not with a Posse.
No, or a cheerleader. Well, he's a cheerleader, but not as good looking as the other one.
No, certainly not. Doesn't have the same frame. And Westwood has the field goal for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with 2:34 to go till halftime. And the Posse actually lucky to get out of a problem there with Winnipeg set up first and goal, or first down at the 16-yard line. 27-8. Bombers in front of Las Vegas now.
Hey, huddle up, Gerald. Huddle up.
Well, you got to love the way Cal Murphy has replaced some of his injured players. You know, Kelvin Smith, who was just really coming into his own as a linebacker, goes down a couple of games ago. And who does he find but Reggie Givens to come in and play linebacker, a Penn State prototype kind of linebacker, and 6 foot 220. And for Cal Murphy, I think one of the things that I've admired about him the most is the ability that that organization has to replace injured players with quality replacements. Now, when Kelvin Smith gets ready, I mean, they got some decisions to make. Pleasant ones,
as Cal said yesterday, but he's got nothing but speed in his linebacking core with Givens, Clark, and Del Lyles in particular.
Well, they've gone through a real transition period from the Tyrone Jones, James West, Greg Battle era to a new group that has really come into its own, I think, right now.
Clark leading the tacklers, hard running on the return for David Hollis.
Hi, guys.
Cal Murphy looking for his 5th straight win for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And the story in this one has been the Bombers with lots of points in the opening quarter, 17 in total. Matt Dunnigan good for 188 yards passing and a couple of touchdowns. And Blaze Bryant has run well with 30 yards so far. Storyline for Dodge Trucks, reinventing the truck. Posse from the 38-yard line. Little play action fake, but it doesn't fool Kelly Rush. Intentionally grounding the ball will likely be called
flag on the play
on Preston Jones. Kelly Rush with pressure immediately, and the loss will be at least 18.
There was a receiver in the area. The flag is waved off. 2nd down.
Oh, there was a receiver nearby.
Well, you talk about guys elevating their game. Kelly Rush, who was with the Bombers a couple of years ago for personal reasons, was let go and then brought back. And now this year, he seems to have really matured and brought his game to a higher level. 5 sacks on the season. He's recovered 4 fumbles. And, you know, I think it's the pressure that he gives this defense as much as anything. Sacks are great, but constantly he is deep. He gets the good penetration upfield, and he's been the kind of player that Cal Murphy expected he would be.
2nd and 10. Posse at the 38-yard line. Claiborne makes the catch, number 81. And the tackle made by Lawrence Hatch. The gain is 7 yards. Robert Claiborne, 26 receptions, 414 yards, and a couple of touchdowns on the season.
Good up front. Good up front. Hurry up, Pete. Hurry up,
This will be 3rd down and 3. So Keene with the wind at his back will try and sail this one and pin the Bombers deep. High snap on the last punt. And this one not much better, but he has a chance to get this one away. It is high and coming down to Blaze Bryant. All the way back at the 17. Bryant is nailed there. The first man downfield was Tucker. 48-yard punt, 7-yard return.
Well, you have to appreciate the effort by a Greg Tucker. You know, it's 27-8 in the 2nd quarter, and this is not a happy football team, and there's every reason for them to just kind of lie down here. But a play like Greg Tucker made, hustling downfield with the big hit, boy, you like to see that.
Matt Dunnigan returning to the Blue Bomber lineup for the first time in 7 weeks. Good on 12 of 22, 188 yards, couple of touchdowns, and staring at 1:56 till halftime with a first down inside the 25. Draw play. Blaze Bryant. Blaze has a first down quickly out near the 40-yard line and stopped there by Cedric Crawford, number 15. 1:49 till the half. Blaze Bryant has 15.
Outside.
Sorry, John.
Vegas number 99. Decline. First down.
Saw a shot of Harry Justvik, who was with the Ottawa Rough Riders last year. Calls all the plays for Preston Jones.
And Dunnigan was off the mark that time, looking for Jamie Holland, who has a touchdown here tonight.
John, I really think that's that high crown in the middle of the field. Talking to some of the Las Vegas coaches, they say opposing quarterbacks have had real difficulty throwing from the middle of the field. That crown in the middle of the field is about 18 inches higher than the field level is at the sidelines, and quarterbacks just aren't used to that kind of elevation, so their timing is just off when they're trying to go, especially to the deep to the outside.
2nd and 10 for Dunnigan now from the 39. He has time, gets it over the middle. Wilcox makes the catch, and very close to first down territory. Finally forced out by Don Robinson. 10-ish, we'll call that, until they measure, or at least spot the ball. Less than a yard to go for a first down with 1:36 till halftime.
Take a look at Gerald Wilcox here, and the great thing about the Canadian game is so much field to work with. 24, Alfie Birch is going to try and stay with him, but heck, you're asking a lot of a defensive back, and to come all the way across the field and stay with the guy, my oh my, that's a tough assignment.
And they're going to measure this and see exactly how far Gerald Wilcox did get and how close the Bombers are to a first down. A little difficult for us to see exactly how close it is on the near sidelines. They've expanded this football field here, and it's a little narrow fitting into this stadium. About 3 yards less than a regulation CFL field, but very close to the stadium, or at least the seats on either side of the field, particularly the near side.
Yeah, it's tough from our vantage point. There you see the side of the field there, and a lot of times from the press box here, you lose it.
3rd and less than a yard to go for the Blue Bombers. Good chance Dunnigan would keep himself, and he does. Jeff Cummins, number 99, made the stop on Dunnigan.
You don't think he thinks twice about that play? That's how he hurt his knee 8 weeks ago. Quarterback sneak. So I'm sure he's happy to get that one over with, up off the ground with no problem. Such a simple play to have the knee problem with.
1:12 till halftime. 27-8. Blue Bombers leading Las Vegas. Here's Dunnigan, and he missed Wilcox. Gerald Wilcox, number 87. Dunnigan throwing into a breeze here that's picked up substantially since the game began. CFL Live tomorrow from Ottawa will present the Argos and the Ottawa Rough Riders. Toronto leading Ottawa by 2 points in the race for the 3rd playoff spot in the CFL East. Second and 10, Blue Bombers with 1:05 till halftime now. Ball spotted just across the 50-yard line. Dunnigan back in a hurry. And he's nailed. Solid play by Shante Peoples, number 20, who grabbed Matt by the ankles and rolled him over.
Shante Peoples leads the Las Vegas Posse in sacks. That's his 11th, which ranks him 4th in the league. So you talk about bright spots for a team. Play of Shante Peoples certainly has been. I remember Greg Battle, who was with them earlier in the year, telling me, hey, this guy reminds me of a young me. And that's quite a compliment. Shante Peoples having a terrific year.
Loss of 7 yards and a 3rd down kicking situation for Bob Cameron, who was worried a little bit about this wind here on his way to the ballpark tonight. This is his first kick into it. Robert Claiborne is deep. Cameron standing at his 30-yard line. When you've kicked in Winnipeg, this is no problem. Claiborne is nailed at the 25.
Guess who?
There's our pal Brendan. He had 11 special teams tackles a couple of weeks ago when we watched the Winnipeg Blue Bombers against the BC Lions. a couple here tonight, but he was really flying that evening in particular.
That's funny, you know, special teams is usually just nothing more than a simple desire to be the first guy down there, to be the first guy to make the play. And there's 35 to the left of your screen, and Claiborne, no place to go but in the arms of Brendan Rodgers, who game after game, he has a lot of fun.
I'll talk to you later. Love you, babe. We'll see you later.
Knows how to work the camera now. Intended for Curtis Mayfield, number 89, and Ken Burris was covering. And halftime from Vegas, a sports break, and then Peter Watts with the halftime reports. We'll have the story of the half, and really it's been all Blue Bombers with a 27-8 lead. 26 seconds remaining till halftime. Jones looking deep, and there's a marker down. Mayfield draws a flag. Preston Jones looked for Curtis Mayfield. Tight coverage. Here's another look, and a little closer.
Yeah, this is a play that they'll run about 6 to 8 times a game. They try to get Mayfield deep. They feel he can outleap everybody and fight for that football, and that's the case right here. Burris with not bad position, but look at Errol Brown over the top, and he's in there with the hit.
All right, let's go, let's go, let's go.
34 yards as far as progress is concerned for the Las Vegas Posse. Now 19 seconds till halftime. Las Vegas set up at the 50-yard line. Jones trying to make something big happen here with time running out. And he overthrew Robert Claiborne, number 81.
See, one of the problems for Preston Jones is, hey, Winnipeg guys watch a lot of film too, and they know that this is a Las Vegas team that loves to go over the top. And, you know, hey, they're expecting this as a defense, and they've been in a pretty good position all night. Well, you got to love the way Errol Brown plays in the middle, and he's a former corner, and, you know, what they get from him is just sideline to sideline help for his corners, and it's only because of his great speed.
13 seconds till halftime. This is 2nd and 10, Las Vegas. Jones under the cover this time. Nice catch by Prince Wembley III, and now they're set up at the 35 with 6 seconds to go, and Carlos Huerta will likely get another opportunity, but first time for one more play. The Posse figures here have to get it off in a hurry.
Ball down by Jones.
They haven't learned the Canadian game.
No.
You don't have to stop the clock by downing it, but to Preston Jones, you know, this is he hasn't had a lot of playing time, and he figured, well, the clock's going to start. We're not going to get that field goal in. What he didn't realize is, hey, the clock will not stop and start until you snap the ball. So they are still adapting.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
Bombers call a timeout, and they'll let Carlos think about a much shorter attempt this time. He missed from the 54-yard line last time, somewhere in that area.
You know what, John? You know, a lot of times the defense will take a timeout and freeze the shooter, so to speak. But I think you're actually doing the kicker and the offense a bit of a favor when it's rushed like this late, trying to get it in before the end of the half. Now they get to calm down, everybody gets ready, and you get into a nice cycle, a nice rhythm. So I'm not so sure about taking that timeout sometimes.
Well, sometimes late in the game when there's all kinds of pressure, and you can make the kicker think about a game-winning field goal, perhaps.
Well, I tell you, a lot of guys tell me that they like that little extra time to make sure everybody's ready. Might notice that Huerta does not use the kicking tee like so many other kickers in the CFL do. He chooses to just nail it right off the ground.
Missed on his earlier attempt, but Carlos Huerta has that one wide as well. And the Bombers, with Cameron in the end zone, kick it out. Penalty markers back near the line, and we'll check out the infraction on what would have been last play of the half.
Initial indication goes against Winnipeg.
Well,
Against the the Bombers.
Yeah, watch when the kick is missed. Kelly Rush just started looking for the kicker, and that's a bit of a cheap shot there when you look at it. You know, hey, the play's over, and Kelly Rush, I mean, I saw it coming. He just started looking for where the kicker was and tried to take a shot at a guy about a third of his size.
Too many men. Winnipeg. First down.
That wasn't the infraction. It was too many men on the field.
No, that's right. But nevertheless, kind of a crazy play.
So Carlos will get another crack at this one from just a little bit closer in. And again, it's Cameron in the end zone in case Carlos is wide. No problem there. 3 more for the Las Vegas Posse. So Carlos is good on 1 of 2. A short field goal on the final play of the opening half. As the Posse cuts the Bomber lead by 3, it's 27-11.
Welcome back to Las Vegas, Nevada, where your halftime report is brought to you by your local McDonald's restaurant.
A round of applause. A free Lou Goldman builder from Superior Tire. Derek Warfield from Pittsburgh, ladies and gentlemen.
Vegas, where at halftime here at Sam Boyd Stadium, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the top end of a 27-11 score over the Las Vegas Posse. Well, Carlos Huerta, the young place kicker for Las Vegas, came into this game with a string of 18 consecutive successful field goals. That's the 4th longest streak in history of the CFL. The streak was broken early in the first half, but it's a streak that is unprecedented in Huerta's own career.
I have a wonderful holder, and to a place kicker, the holder is like his crutch. If he's doing his job and really pinning the ball well for you, it makes a big difference, and I credit a lot to him. I have not missed 1 field goal because of a bad hold, and that's rare. So I'll give him credit. Secondly, I don't know, I'm in a mental state where it's just real positive all the time, and that helps so much. Kicking is so mental because you don't know when you're going down the field. I don't know, I go a game without kicking a field goal, and it's sometimes you got to go out there and all of a sudden, boom, 55-yard field, you got to be ready to go out in the field, and somehow I've been maintained positive throughout this year. I don't know if the coaches have helped me, and maybe a revived attitude for football because I didn't make it last year and wasn't playing, and I'm just so happy to be back, and I want to make the most of it, and everything's really clicking. I have not had a streak or have kicked this well before. I've had success in college, but never like this.
Huerta talked about how focused he's been through the streak. This is a town where you really need to be focused, and that is a question that Cal Murphy addressed with his troops before they got on the plane in Winnipeg on Thursday night. He was concerned about walking into the lobby of hotels and seeing all those slot machines.
Well, I guess before we left on Thursday when we had a practice, I did tell them it was a business trip, and remember, we have to keep winning because if Baltimore is still winning, and if it's important for us really to keep up that tempo, because you really don't want to do anything that is going to take away from what you've already done.
Cal Murphy addressing the question of distractions. He is never distracted when there is a job to be done. His team playing pretty good football right now. Well, the Posse have lost a couple of people. Anthony Cavillo went out late in the first quarter, and this was the scene here a few moments ago as running back John Volpe was loaded into an ambulance and taken to hospital. He's got a torn ligament in his left knee, and he is obviously done not only for this game, but for the rest of this CFL season. Let's have a look at some statistical leaders in the CFL. After week 14, Doug Flutie leads the quarterbacks with over 4,400 100 yards in passing. His teammate Alan Pitts is the leading receiver, and Mike Pringle of the Baltimore CFLers is having a terrific year on the ground. On defense, Will Johnson of Calgary has 15 sacks to lead the defenders. Calvin Teagle, great middle linebacker in Toronto, leads the tacklers, and Les Brown leads the BC Lions in the CFL in interceptions. He's the all-time CFL interception leader. Tomorrow, Week 15 concludes with the Calgary Stampeders meeting the Ticats in Hamilton. Stampeders favored by almost 2 touchdowns, and Sacramento favored by almost the same amount as they meet the Pirates down in Shreveport. Sacramento really needs a win now to catch Saskatchewan for the 4th spot in the West. Baltimore at Edmonton on Sunday afternoon. Eskimos favored by 4.5. That's a great matchup at Commonwealth Stadium. And tomorrow night at 7 Eastern, Toronto at Ottawa. That's live on CFL on TSN with Gord Miller, Vic Rutter, and Jamie Bone. All the little guys from the Pop Warner Football League here in Las Vegas on the field as part of the halftime entertainment. Halftime rolls on from Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers lead the Las Vegas Posse 27-11 at halftime in Las Vegas. It took Matt Dunnigan a little while to get accustomed to the Bomber offense again, but he finally did and engineered a pretty impressive scoring drive.
Well, it only took him 3 series to really get comfortable, and you'll see right here, and pretty good throw as he goes down the sidelines to his new receiver, Tim Daniel. He can't have better coverage than Eric Jeter had right there, but Daniel stretched out, made a beautiful catch, and of course that set it up on the 1-yard line for Blaze Bryant, and the Winnipeg offensive line does such a good job blocking. A double team by Walby and Black, a kick out by Chris Johnstone, and a pretty easy trip into the end zone for Blaze Bryant.
Blaze Bryant in untouched there, and the Bombers get it going again. Gerald Alphen on the receiving end of this touchdown toss from Matthew Dunnigan.
Well, one of the things that Don Robinson, the defensive back, has to do if he's going to jam, go up and drill him, but that's kind of a pillow fight right there. Alphen wins it, and he gets the pretty easy touchdown. So it's been all Winnipeg in the first half in this ball game tonight.
Bombers led 17-0 at one stage. It is now 27-11. Blue Bombers leading the Las Vegas Posse as the kids go on a run here in Las Vegas. Well, welcome back to Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And let's take a look at the numbers from the opening half. Brought to you by Subway. Time of possession is really the clear indicator of the Bomber margin of lead right now. 17-10 compared to 12-50. Dunnigan with 15 first downs compared to 4 for Las Vegas.
You know, John, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers really haven't rushed the ball that much or that well with only 44, but for Las Vegas with only 3 yards, I mean, that is a killer because that means Cal Murphy's team is just going to pin their ears back and rush the young Las Vegas quarterbacks, and that has been a problem area. There's been no way to slow down that rush.
Second half underway as Hollis returns for the Posse. Got away from a couple of Bomber tacklers, and he's out near midfield at about the 53. Good way to start for the Posse. Rob Davidson leading the Blue Bomber tacklers there, and Hollis celebrates and tries to get something going for his team. Posse down 27-11. And it's still Preston Jones at quarterback with Anthony Cavillo shaken up in the first half and unable to return to the ball game. Jones has engineered the only scoring marches for Las Vegas so far tonight. Set up nicely here with good field position. Wembley makes the catch, and that's very close to a first down. Sampson, Darrell Sampson, number 30 for the Bombers, made the tackle. We'll see where they spot the ball. But very close to a Posse first down on the initial indication. And it should be a first down Las Vegas.
Posse fans, after the game, go with
but they'll measure to make sure.
Tap House. Bring your ticket stub, and the Tap House will give you a free drink at the Tap House.
Las Vegas Posse returning home and really felt they had an opportunity to win last week's game against Baltimore. A couple of turnovers cost the Posse dearly. One early in the game, one late. And they come up just a little bit short of the first down on first offensive sequence of the second half here in Las Vegas. Less than a yard to go, as you can see there.
How'd you like that halftime show?
I loved it. I couldn't see if the youngster got the touchdown there.
Well, I'm going to show you something, you know, like you talk, hey, look at Rodney Harding right up here. Now, Rodney Harding just comes this way, and then you got Alan Pitts coming over here on the reverse, and hey, that's Doug, well, it's the same height as Doug Flutie, so he hands off right there. Now, you watch Pitts go around the corner with some pretty good blocking up front. There it is. Now, Rodney should have made the play right there.
Yeah, he had an opportunity for the play, but it opens up beautifully, doesn't it?
I'll tell you what, the only thing he's got to do, hey, you got to tuck that ball in the other hand over there. Get it on the outside and the left side so you don't fumble it.
Well, he didn't. He held on anyway. Those hats look a little big for the players out there.
They had a lot of fun at halftime. It's pretty interesting to watch the kids play.
Second down, less than a yard to go for the Las Vegas Posse. Sampson has it, the interception. And a return to the right side as markers go down. Sampson stopped near the 40-yard line. Darrell Sampson's second interception of the season, and more frustration for Preston Jones. Good on 57% of his passes in a backup role in Vegas this season. Penalty marker is after the interception.
Pretty cagey play by Darrell Sampson. The ball hangs up just long enough.
On the return.
Here's Darrell Sampson
Winnipeg
right down at the bottom.
58.
Look at the position he's in on Wembley, and that's from studying films. You know, look, reading that they're trying to hit those seam patterns, and he's seen it, jumped inside, and that's a heck of an interception. His second, missed a couple of games with the chicken pox of all things earlier in the year, but now back healthy and raring to go.
Is it on? That's why you don't play offense.
So Dunnigan takes over for the Bombers. Near side, he has Alphen. And Alphen is in first down territory, stopped by Don Robinson.
Don Robinson on the tackle for Las Vegas. Second down.
9-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 1 Winnipeg with a comfortable 27-11 lead on the Las Vegas Posse. Holland to the near side. The newcomer at wide receiver, Tim Daniel. To the far side. Dunnigan hands off to Blaze Bryant, and Bryant is to the 45. Stopped there again by Don Robinson.
Don Robinson on the tackle.
Mark Bryant for a gain of 7.
Gain of 6 on the play. First down.
You know, in the Winnipeg scheme of things, John, often the running game's only as good as the lead blocks from Chris Johnstone, and he just does a super job. You'll see the linebacker come out. Watch how he just walls him off right there, and that allows a nice seam for Bryant to come up through. But, you know, he's taking on Tim Brody, number 39, pretty solid linebacker. That's a heck of a play.
And on 1st and 10, Dunnigan fired high to the far side. Gerald Wilcox was the intended receiver. 14 of 26 for 207. A couple of touchdowns for Matt Dunnigan. Slow start, and then he engineered an impressive drive of 70 yards or so, completing 3 of 4 and connecting with the newcomer Tim Daniel for a 43-yard reception to set up Winnipeg's first touchdown, a 1-yarder by Blaze Bryant. This will be 2nd and 10 Winnipeg. Just nicely into the second half. And this is Blaze Bryant. Bryant out near the 55 and stopped by Steven Anderson.
Cedric Crawford with the initial tackle for Las
Bryant
Vegas.
with 124 yards last year.
Well, there's Keithan McCant, and you know, this is the first game in quite some time that he hasn't been the starter. Started 6 games, was 4-2 as a starter, and you know, he did a heck of a job. And you know, there was some talk, would he start tonight? But I think, you know, they did the smart thing. If Dunnigan was going to play, let Matt start the game, and then McCann doesn't have to feel like he got pulled. But those were his numbers. Pretty good, 50% ratio on touchdowns to interceptions. I thought he did a whale of a job.
And with Dunnigan out, the Bombers went 5-2. Markers are down on 3rd and 1. Let's see what the infraction is they found. Referee Jake Ireland talking to the Posse.
Procedure. Winnipeg number 66. Still 3rd down.
That's a big procedure.
Yeah, Miles Gurrell.
Yeah, there's a keg or two in there, I think.
Low snap for Cameron. He has problems. Got it away. Now bobbled by the Posse. Bombers have a chance to recover. And I think Winnipeg may have the ball, but there's a marker down.
Guess who got it, though?
Yeah, Brendan. Brandon Rogers, number 35, comes up with a fumble. But let's wait and see what the infraction was.
Well, I think Anthony Blue, number 1, made a calculated gamble that had, you know, if he did fumble as he did, they'd get called for no yards.
No yards. Winnipeg. First down.
No yards against the Bombers, and Cameron does a good job to get this away.
I don't think there's too many things that are going to surprise Bob Cameron.
First down, Las Vegas Posse, when we return to Sam Boyd Stadium in Las Vegas for CFL live action, where the Bombers lead it 27-11. CFL Live on TSN, brought to you in part by GMC Trucks. GMC Truck, the strength of experience. .11:07 to go, third quarter. Las Vegas Posse. First and 10, beginning at the 51-yard line. Preston Jones at the controls. And the handoff is to Hill. He's in for John Volpe, who was taken out of the game with a knee injury in the first half. Greg Clark, the tackle on the play. The gain is 4 yards for Hill.
Well, the Vegas Posse really have never been able to establish a running game tonight. They haven't really tried too hard. And, you know, I told you they only really had 2 running plays coming into this game. A very, very small package.
More changes along the Posse offensive line this week, so that limits what they can do. Little heat on Jones. He got it away. And far side of the field, Robert Claiborne tried to come back, but couldn't get back far enough to make the catch.
Well, for Preston Jones, it's been a bit of a struggle tonight. It seems like every throw he's got somebody right in his face, and you know, so difficult. He's had to throw that one before he was ready and before his receiver was ready, and consequently your chances of completing them aren't too good.
Listen, so into a punting situation again for Robbie Keane. Standing back at his 50-yard line, has the wind at his back, although it's died down a little bit here in the second half. Direct snap, and throwing off the play, incomplete. Jordan was the intended receiver, and Judd Garrett, number 33, took the direct snap. The penalty is against the Bombers.
Well, they direct snap it to number 33, Judd Garrett. You saw him step back just before it. It's his option to either run or throw, and
offside.
Had his receiver open. Al Jordan, he doesn't make the catch. But they do get a bit of a break on an offside penalty. One more look at it, and it's a pretty good looking play. I think he might have been able to run for the first down, but the receiver was so open, he said, heck, I'll throw it and complete it that way. But Jordan couldn't make the catch. Winnipeg offside, so they'll have third and just a couple of inches.
So the offense comes back on the field for Ron Meyer's team. Third down. Less than a yard to go for the first down. So that gamble on 3rd and 5 did pay off. But this one may not. We'll see where Jones
on the keeper.
We'll see where they spot the ball for Jones. He stumbled trying to get back to the line of scrimmage.
John, that is a bizarre play. You know, I have to think that all of a sudden Preston Jones, for some strange reason, thought that that penalty had given him a first down, because that's pretty weird 3rd and short call.
Yeah, he's thinking throw all the way. Well, as he looked that way, and then, well, maybe not.
That's
it
tough.
Didn't work.
Tough to figure out what that one was.
Didn't work, whatever. It'll go as a turnover. Blue Bombers get the football back. That was a 3rd down gamble, 3rd and less than a yard to go, and the Posse messed it up. Here's Dunnigan to his right. Fakes once and looked for Wilcox. Couldn't make the catch and stay in bounds. And he was concentrating on staying in bounds and couldn't hang on to the ball.
Well, that's one that Matt Dunnigan would like to have back. You see him signaling, hey, it was my fault. Wilcox with the wheel pattern out and up, and boy, he was just wide open. Dunnigan, hey, you know, he's in spurts has played exceptionally well, and then at other times he's just had a little difficulty hitting his receivers tonight.
2nd and 10, Winnipeg, beginning or continuing at least from the 50-yard line. Bombers with a 27-11 lead on the Las Vegas Posse. Dunnigan is back in a hurry and handed it off to Blaze Bryant on the way by. Bryant will have a first down, Winnipeg. Markers are down after Bryant got his first down.
We have a flag on the play.
Jake Ireland talking to the Posse.
Holding. Winnipeg number 51. After yards were gained. First down.
Yeah, the penalty is on David Black, but the first down will stand.
Well, you have to love the play. They got trips to the wide side on the rollout. It gets everybody moving, and then that shovel pass back inside. There's David Black, 51, to the left of your screen, and probably don't see the holding call on him. But, you know, it's that influence with that sprint. You get everybody moving, and then your linemen have such good angles to block for Blaze Bryant.
Another nice night for Bryant with 61 yards so far and 11 carries.
You got a pass. You got a pass.
Dunnigan, quick pass and a one-hander grabbed by Gerald Alphin on 1st and 10. Don Robinson over to make the tackle. Nifty little one-handed reception. Good for 7.
That's just one of the little things that shows you why guys like Alphin have good years year after year, and not a lot of guys can make this catch.
Whoa.
He sees the hit coming.
Just
he knows
stuck.
it's coming, but he sticks it with the one hand and absorbs the hit from Robinson, and the Bombers just keep on marching. What a play.
2nd and 3. Winnipeg now at the Las Vegas 50. This is Blaze Bryant, and that's another Winnipeg first down. Bryant is surrounded by the Posse, and still he's tough to bring down. Alfie Birch was in the middle of that, along with David Hollis, 24 and 25. 7:49 to go, third quarter.
Well, you talk about an offensive line slowly starting to dominate the defensive front. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are just banging the Las Vegas Posse defensive linemen off the line of scrimmage now. And, you know, they haven't really tried to establish the run. Only 44 yards in the first half totally, but I think it's there anytime they want to go to it.
Bomber first down for Dunnigan. Looks deep, looking for Holland. He can't get back to the ball. Al Jordan, number 27, was with Jamie Holland. And the ball a little underthrown, or at least Holland couldn't get back to it.
Well, Dunnigan's working into the wind here, and I think the wind really killed that throw as he tried to get the Holland. Remember that running to your left for a quarterback is the toughest throw to make, especially on the long bomb, and that just didn't have much velocity behind it.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Bombers set up at the Las Vegas 42. The wind has died down a little bit here in the second half. Dunnigan looking deep, and he's not on targets. Yes, he is. Wilcox.
Pass to number 87, Gerald Wilcox for the touchdown.
Well, it's interesting to see the adjustment that Matt Dunnigan made. You know, the previous throw to Holland was way short on the long one into that wind. So that time, Wilcox on Mo Kelly, number 11. You see Dunnigan, he just airs this out pretty much as far as he can throw it. And Kelly cannot adjust to it as it drifts outside. And Wilcox.
What's that other ball doing in the end zone, Leaf? I saw that bounce out. I didn't think it was a touchdown.
Well, I tell you,
the first time I called it, I thought I saw a ball in the end zone.
Well, I wonder if Mo Kelly was reacting to the one that came out of the air. That's pretty bizarre.
So I missed the call completely, but I saw the ball bouncing in the end zone.
Well, we're going to have a close-up look at it to just verify that, yeah, Gerald Wilcox did make a nice catch and picked up the touchdown. There it is. Yeah, now watch to the radio
touchdown there. Loose ball in the end zone, but the one that counted, apparently, is in Wilcox's hands, and the Bombers have a 34-11 lead. Winnipeg Blue Bombers running over the Las Vegas Posse.
In a second. Right now. We're about to bring it.
It's 34-11 with 6:38 to go, third quarter, and it's been all Winnipeg.
Yeah, John, and for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, to use a curling term, they have the hammer. As if they get 2 points tonight. Baltimore plays in Edmonton tomorrow. There were the number of plays it took for Gerald Wilcox to haul in a 42-yard touchdown pass, but they have the hammer this weekend, and they're hoping to put a little pressure on Baltimore tomorrow as they play at Commonwealth Stadium.
This is Claiborne returning for the Posse. Nice job, but did he lose the ball? I think so, near the 45. And the Posse got it back.
Tackled by number 36, Paul Randolph.
Well, Robert Claiborne looking for a seam, and he tries to get that burst, gets up through the initial wave, and then, boy, the Winnipeg Brendan Rodgers, once again, I think he was the one that stripped the ball loose time after time, and special team situation after situation. He's the guy that seems to make all the big plays.
Carey shaken up and trying to shake it off on the sidelines. 1st and 10 Posse. Jones has no opportunity to get it away. Bobby Evans, number 33, was through in a hurry. Bombers said they were going to put some heat on the Vegas quarterbacks, and they've done so tonight. Preston Jones has been decked a couple of times and had severe pressure on a couple of other occasions.
Well, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers just keep pouring it on. You see Bobby Evans. He looks like he's in coverage. He's coming on the blitz. And, well, you have to think that Preston Jones was thinking, hey, 34-11. I'm not going to see that kind of a defense. But he turns around, and 33 Evans is right in his face.
Loss of 10. This is 2nd and 20. Jones gets it out of his hands in a hurry this time, looking in the far side for Curtis Mayfield. And the Bombers have done a pretty good job on number 89 so far tonight.
Well, they have
Smith in
they
particular.
have for a couple of reasons, John, and the main reason is they're getting solid play from their corners tonight. But number 3, Errol Brown in the middle is really conscious of where Mayfield is lining up, and he's shading a bit that way and giving his corners lots of help over the top.
5:32 remaining in the third quarter, with the Bombers comfortably in front of Las Vegas.
No, it's
34-11.
Sorry, John. What's interesting to me about Winnipeg is at the beginning of the year, the defense was really struggling, and the linebacking core was having trouble gelling. But in the last month, I mean, this is a team that defensively is starting to dominate games again like they used to.
Alan Boyko for a couple on the return. Maurice Kelly, number 11, making the tackle. Bombers are dominating in Las Vegas so far. 39-yard punt there, 4-yard return, and there's your score, folks. Matt Dunnigan back to lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers after missing 7 games, and he's done a pretty nice job tonight. 17 of 32 for 269 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a very comfortable lead for Winnipeg at 34-11 as Dunnigan takes over at the 40-yard line. Pitch to Blaze Bryant, tries the right side. Slipped through for a couple there.
I'm on the sidelines with Errol Brown. They change very much with Preston Jones in at quarterback instead of Cavill?
Yeah, definitely. He's given us a little bit different read. We've got film on Cavill. We don't have any film on this guy, so he's giving us a lot of different change-ups on defense, and we're just trying to adjust him right now. We're doing a good job of it.
You guys have denied the ball to Curtis Mayfield, which really is a key to stopping the Posse.
Yeah, definitely. They're wide receivers. They're both excellent wide receivers, so as long as we can keep the ball away from them, we'll be happy.
All right, thanks, Errol.
3 yards of the previous Bomber offensive play. 2nd and 7. Dunnigan has Wilcox, and Wilcox should have the first down. Stopped by Alfie Birch, number 24. Errol Brown listed as 5'8" as he talked to Peter Watts down there. Do you think he's 5'8"?
I think
plays big.
I think with his high heels on, he's maybe 5'8". No, tell you what, though, he's a little guy that plays big because, early in the year, he made a lot of big hits, almost too many hits. They had to slow him down just a little bit. He was trying to prove his worth to his teammates, and he certainly has done that. Is he 5'8"?
Well, it's listed as 5'8" there, I believe.
He's a good guy, and I'm really happy to see him playing so well.
He's listed at 175 pounds, and I think that might be stretching it a bit, too. 3rd and 1, or less than 1, and let's see where they spot the ball as Dunnigan is stopped by Robinson. It is a first down.
Hey, John, you know what defensive linemen try to do in these short yardage situations? They try to just submarine underneath. Watch 97, Jeff Sawyer. Hey, he gets the penetration, but it really doesn't matter. Dunnigan is going the other way, but look at that. Whoo, spit him. It's like bowling. I got both of them. I got the spare.
First down's 20-5, Winnipeg. Here's Dunnigan. Flipped it ahead for Blaze Bryant again, and Bryant has great running room down the sidelines. Finally grabbed from behind by number 25, David Hollis. What did you say? Bryant had about 44 yards in the first half. He's got almost that here in the third quarter.
Here's what the sprint draw does to a nose tackle, and it's the influence. So you've got Jeff Cummins, number 99. He's right in there. Watch what the sprint does. It brings him this way, and he just, by the time he tries to recover, hey, Bryant's just gone right by him. But that's the scheme. Get those defensive linemen moving, and he's, you know, he gets back into it, but he has no chance to make the tackle.
And the touchdown toss is on target. Second of the night for Tim Daniel, the newcomer.
27-yard touchdown.
First of the night. He caught the one for 43 down to the 1-yard line. Pardon me.
I'll tell you, Winnipeg is making it look awfully easy. And 800 strong that have come down here from Winnipeg have been treated to a pretty nice performance by Matt Dunnigan and his crew. You see the top of the screen. Daniel, he catches Jeter looking inside, and once Jeter stops his feet moving, when he looks in at the quarterback, you're dead in the water. He just is never able to recover. Dunnigan right on target.
Solid start to a CFL career for Tim Daniel, number 81. Set up one touchdown in the first half and has his first in Canadian football in the second as the Bombers add to an already imposing lead at 41-11. 2:23 to go, third quarter.
Well, the Bombers have made it look pretty easy tonight, and I think for Matt Dunnigan, he should be thrilled with his performance and how he has hooked up with his receivers at times. Yes, he has looked a little rusty, but at other times he has been right back on target, and boy, that is encouraging as they have their last 4 games getting ready for the playoffs.
And a run with Baltimore for top spot in the CFL East.
Now, once again, look at the protection, though. I mean, he can step up with that front foot and deliver a strike with no threat of someone in his face or giving him a hit, and he is right on target. Once again, here we go. The headbutt. Hey, he's appreciative of those offensive linemen and the job that he does, or the job that they do, rather, for him.
What's up, David?
Nice job.
What's up, AJ?
Nice job, Blaze.
What's happening? What's up, Mo? Dane? Madison, Nolan, what's up? Here we go, Chris. Big Bobby.
Yeah, Cal's chuckling down there in the sidelines, and he's had a happy night tonight. And caught smiling on more than one occasion, watching his Blue Bombers romp to this big lead over the Las Vegas Posse at 41-11. Claiborne on the return. And he wasn't going anywhere on that one. Matt Pierce leading the Bomber tacklers upfield. And the Winnipeg scoring drive, impressive again for Matt Dunnigan. 5 plays to cover 70 yards, and he did it in 2 minutes and 46 seconds. Tim Daniel, his first CFL touchdown from 28 yards out.
Well, if you're just joining us, the Bombers ahead comfortably 41-11. The story for the Las Vegas Posse. Anthony Cavillo knocked out early with an injury problem. John Volpe, torn knee ligaments. He is out, so things just seem to get worse and worse for Las Vegas.
Injury is a big part of the problems for the Posse since the season began. Now first down beginning at the 28, and this is Hill with about 5 yards on that carry. Stan Mikowas in on the tackle, 5 yards, looks like.
John, you and I talked before the game that mathematically Las Vegas was still in the thick of things there. Well, not really the thick of things, but still in it. I think with a loss tonight, virtually their chances go right out the window.
Odds are a little long on Las Vegas, as they are in Las Vegas.
Sure has been an interesting race for the top 3 spots, though, all season long.
Jones got it away, took a hit, but he has a first down. As Prince Wembley, the third, made a nice catch and run afterwards, stopped by Greg Clark. 16 yards the gain there.
Well, all-out blitz coming. There's Bobby Evans. Now, when you see him in the backfield, that means Errol Brown has to come over and cover his man, and that's a long way to go. And one of the things that Errol Brown is going to learn when he gets more experience, when his buddy Bobby Evans is going to come on the blitz, he's got to cheat over just a few extra steps and maybe get there a little sooner.
Kelly Rush in some pain. Number 90 for the Blue Bombers.
Yeah, I think he got the burner up in the left shoulder there. They call that burner when you jam yourself and it just stings out of control for a couple of minutes.
Preston Jones taking a lot of heat from the Blue Bomber defense. With Rush on the sidelines, Rob Davidson will move into the Bomber front three, and maybe we can see what happened here.
Yeah, there's Kelly Rush right there, and see if you can. It's the left shoulder, I'm sure. Tough to tell. Maybe he got pinned underneath the body of 58 Greg Clark.
Enough for the first down. And Thompson carried that time. That's Aubrey Thompson, number 36. Kelly Rush trying to shake it off at the Bomber bench. Reggie Gibbons made the tackle, and it's a gain of 4 yards. Preston Jones at the controls for Las Vegas since Anthony Cavillo went out in the first half. Jones has felt a lot of heat, not that time, got it away safely, and that's Michael Stevens, 86.
Number 86, Michael Stevens. Daryl Sampson on the stop.
Daryl Sampson made the tackle for Winnipeg. Tom Burgess leading the Saskatchewan Roughriders to a key victory over the BC Lions. Burgess tossed 4 this afternoon in a 38-27 win for Saskatchewan. Should be the final play of the third quarter. Less than a yard necessary for a first down for the Posse. And the quarterback, Preston Jones, carries. Stopped by Greg Clark, but he'll have enough for the first down. And that is the end of the third quarter, with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers comfortably in control at 41-11. Tough night for the Posse in all aspects of the game. Well, welcome back to Las Vegas. The real Cactus Jacks here in the stands somewhere, or the other one, not the Winnipeg Cactus Jack. Stand up and do a little kick to the YMCA song here, pal.
Well, this is not really my kind of music.
Oh, it used to be. It used to be.
Yeah, this is the real Cactus Jack right there.
Well, not a big crowd on hand here, but they're trying to keep warm in Las Vegas tonight, with the Bombers out in front 41-11. Fourth quarter just getting underway. 1st and 10 for the Posse. Jones stands in, looks down the far sidelines, and is it picked off? Yes, it is. Grabbed by Lawrence Hatch.
That's his second.
And he's had a great run since joining the Blue Bombers, hasn't he? 2 tonight.
That's his 5th interception now in 3 games. They put him in for Phillips to see what he can do, and he's been nothing short of perfect in 3 games. That's his second of the night. He had 2 interceptions 2 weeks ago against Shreveport, so every game he's had a pick. Well, I don't think he can do it any better than that. Just anticipation. Figured they were going deep and was in a perfect spot to make the pick.
Good. That's all we got to say. Just working hard. Come on, man. You look like doing good as a team. That's fine. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up with that, Bush?
So the Bombers with a first down. And Dunnigan at the controls once more, starting at the 15-yard line. Blaze Bryant has been running hard in the second half. And that time he ran into Tim Brody. Numbers favor the Bombers in every aspect of this football evening in Las Vegas. Passing yards 337 compared to 120. Net yards 401, less than 100 for the Posse. And turnovers too many by Las Vegas. Once more, time of possession, the Bombers have just had the football for a longer period of time. Dunnigan to his right, and And there's Gerald Wilcox. No catch. 13:51 remaining in the fourth quarter. Will Dunnigan get a rest here in the dying moments of this final quarter?
Well, I think he'll play at least half of the fourth quarter. You know, he wants the playing time too, and I think he needs it. You know, some people might say, well, he's done a good job for his first night back. Why not give him a break? But I think, you know, you got to leave him in there. Let him play the whole game and really get a full one under his belt. Just get all his rhythm back.
Claiborne right at midfield, and he's stopped almost immediately. Robson was there, but first guy on the job was Brendan Rogers one more time.
Well, he's had a good night coming back. A little rusty at spots, but 20 of 36, 337, 4 TDs, and no picks on the bad side of the ledger. So I think Matt would be thrilled with that performance tonight.
Kelly Rush, shaken up a moment ago, is ready to resume for the Blue Bombers, number 90. 13:29 to play, fourth quarter. Las Vegas just across midfield and into Bomber territory as Jones looks to the far side and almost picked off again. Lawrence Hatch almost had his third of the night.
Well, one of the things Lawrence Hatch does really well is that every once in a while in man coverage, he gives his guy a lot of room. And what that enables him to do is read right into the backfield. So he has enough speed if he throw to the guy he's covering, or he has enough speed to leave his man and help out. Hey, Stevens was in behind Sampson, but who's there to help him out but Lawrence Hatch? I mean, he's got a real feel for this game.
He loves it too, doesn't he?
Well, when you have 2 picks and you're making plays like that, you will have a smile on your face.
2nd and 10, Las Vegas at the Bomber 53. And this is Hill, grabbed from behind by Greg Clark. And Del Lyles also there. So is Reggie Givens. So it'll be 3rd down and a kicking situation.
It's frustrating night for the Las Vegas offense. You know, 2nd and long, and they're running draws. People may say, well, they should throw it. You know, I think right now there's just not too much that they can do to hurt this Winnipeg defense. Tough night for Ron Meyer, and 3rd down gambling situation here.
Yeah, it would normally be a chance to kick it away, but down 41-11, they'll try a 3rd down gamble. 3rd and a bunch necessary, and he won't get it away. Preston Jones grabbed by Del Lyles. And it's been a tough night on Posse quarterbacks. They've been surrounded by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense, and that time Lyles celebrates the sack. This is CFL Live from Vegas. Welcome back to Las Vegas, where the Blue Bombers haven't had to gamble very much tonight. They lead 41-11 with 12:13 to go in the fourth quarter. The Bombers appear destined to chalk up their 11th win of the season and take over sole possession of top spot in the CFL East. Stay tuned following the game for the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Sony, the new V-Series Trinitron. Blue Bombers have the offense on the field once more. 1st and 10. Starting about midfield. Turnovers, a big part of the game. Vegas has coughed it up 6 times. Dunnigan, Wilcox, and he held on. Short of the 1st down, Maurice Kelly running into Gerald Wilcox, and I'm sure Maurice felt the hit there.
Well, Maurice has had his hands full tonight with both Alphen and Wilcox. They're not easy guys to cover, and when they're that big, you know, we've talked about that. That size advantage really plays in the favor of the Winnipeg receiving corps.
2nd and a couple for the Bombers, trying to get across the 45-yard line for a 1st down. Dunnigan, Blaze Bryant, that's a lot, or at least enough for the 1st down, and lots more. Greg Tucker, 35, put the stop on Blaze Bryant, who's closing in on 100 yards rushing tonight.
Have a look at Chris Wallaby here on Jeff Sawyer, 97. I mean, this is like a pinball machine there. He's just banging everybody around.
Yeah, and then he got to Anderson, too. Tim Daniel made the catch, and Jeff Sawyer over to make the tackle. There are penalty markers down. Keithan McCants got to start when Matt Dunnigan was on the sidelines, did a good job. And it looks like he's going to get a chance to relieve Dunnigan here tonight.
Las Vegas number 20. First down.
Shante Peoples is called for objectionable conduct, and there's also an injured Posse player. That's Alfie Birch, number 24, being attended to by the training staff. Nice night. I thought 40 or so.
John, I thought he'd have more than 82 yards rushing in this game. I thought they would really just try and establish him and push that Las Vegas defense around. But, you know, in defense of the offense tonight, Matt Dunnigan probably wanted to get his timing down, throwing the ball more than the running game. Felt like he could do anything he wanted, and that's really been the case in this one. But, you know, we saw a shot of Keithan McCant warming up on the sidelines. And, you know, I think if they choose to bring him in, and in a way, psychologically, that's a good move, too, because you don't want him to think like he's the forgotten man. He made a big contribution. He still should get rewarded with some playing time.
Back for the Winnipeg Blue Bomber first down to Las Vegas on CFL Live. Blue Bombers set up with a first down at the 23-yard line of the Las Vegas Posse. 10:46 to go in the final quarter here in Las Vegas. Bombers' first visits here, and it appears they will take a victory home unless the Posse can really put together a marvelous comeback here.
And I think this is the last drive you'll see Matt Dunnigan in tonight. They'll let him finish this one off, and then it'll be Keithan McCant's team to run for the last 8 or 10 minutes of this game.
And that's likely bad news for the Posse. Dunnigan goes to the end zone, and he can't bring it down, but a flag does come down in the end zone. Jamie Holland was the intended receiver, and Geter was covering. Jeter, I should say. Get the official word from Jake Ireland.
The ball was uncatchable. There's no infraction on the play. Second down.
Yeah, I think that's a good overrule by Jake Ireland and his crew. It really looked like, you know, Jeter created some contact at the end there, but it certainly didn't look like an interference penalty. Glad to see the officials get together, sort things out the right way.
That makes it second down. 10 to go, 23-yard line. And a little drop play to Blaze Bryant. Will he get the first down? He'll be awfully close. Should have it. David Hollis, number 25, made the stop on Blaze Bryant. And it will be a Winnipeg first down as Dunnigan keeps the drive alive. 12 yards for Bryant. And Winnipeg set up at the 12-yard line of the Las Vegas Posse with 9:52 to go. Dunnigan looks to put it up under the cover, and he'll have a touchdown. Gerald Alphin from Matt Dunnigan. And that'll complete a pretty nice night for Dunnigan, we would expect. With Keithan McCant warming up, he should come on to the field for the Bombers' next sequence, or at least next offensive sequence. Nice night, Matt.
Nice night, Matt, and nice night for Gerald Alphin. Here he is at the bottom of the screen, 4 touchdowns a week ago, and then just a simple out. Not a great challenge from the Las Vegas secondary tonight. And there you see once again, Nod Robinson takes him straight upfield, and Robinson is dead in the water. The feet stop moving, and there's just no way he can get out to Alphin. And, you know, I said it earlier, that's just a little bit too easy. If you're going to play goal line defense, you got to come up and challenge a little tighter than that.
Westwood makes it 48-11 for the Blue Bombers, leading the Las Vegas Posse. Dunnigan on the sidelines, apparently ready to hand things over to Keith and McCant. And when I said it was likely bad news for the Posse, the McCant was coming in. He's going to want to go out there and prove a little something. He's not about to sit back and protect a lead, because there's really no need to do that at 48-11.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think he will want to come in and run the entire package of the offense the way he has in the 6 games that he has started. There's that group that has made the trip down to Las Vegas. Kind of fun for them to get down here, lose some money, watch their football team play, all of the above.
Over 1,000 Blue Bomber fans on several charter flights have been down celebrating in Las Vegas. A few will remain in town tonight. The Bombers will leave right after the game and charter back to Winnipeg. .9:21 to go. 4th quarter, a long night for the Posse in Las Vegas. Team with a lot of promise at the start of the season. After 2 straight wins, things kind of fell apart as far as the team play was concerned, and unfortunately the crowds in Las Vegas never amounted to very much. Here's Claiborne, and number 81 is brought down by Greg Clark, number 58. Another Blue Bomber scoring drive engineered by Matt Dunnigan. 8 plays, 57 yards, and a time of 4:14, and Alphen caps it off with another touchdown reception. Preston Jones in relief of Anthony Cavillo as the Posse quarterback did engineer 1 touchdown shortly after taking over, but he's been shut out for quite some time now. 9 minutes to go, 4th quarter. Jones has Mayfield, and Mayfield has a first down. Reggie Gibbons and Errol Brown, number 3 and 4. And that's Mayfield's first reception of the night, so the Bombers have done a pretty good job in tying him up.
Yeah, they have, and this is the big play guy for the Las Vegas Posse, and if he's not involved in the offense, then it becomes very difficult for them to function at a high levels in offense. It took him a long time to get his first catch.
Claiborne to the near side, Mayfield to the far side of the field on 1st and 10, Posse at the 52. Here comes the heats, and the blitz was on. Jones under great pressure again from the Bomber group, led by Mikowas and Lyles that time, number 77 and 56.
Intentional grounding, Las Vegas number 5. What down was that?
One of the problems tonight for the offensive line is they're trying to go to zone protection, but they just really miss. And here comes Mikowas right up the gut. And, you know, he's been getting that good push up the field all night. There you see the right guard has to make a choice. Number 51, Joe Garton. It's not the right choice, and Preston Jones has to get rid of it. He gets called for illegal grounding. But, you know, Stan Mikowas doesn't get a lot of publicity, but he's a guy that just keeps pushing play after play up the middle. And that time he gets rewarded with the good pressure, causing the penalty.
2nd and 10 for the Posse. 2nd and 25, I should say, because of the intentional grounding penalty. Can anybody catch it? Coverage on Claiborne, provided by Kent Burris. Argos Rough Riders catch it tomorrow night on TSN, 7 o'clock Eastern time.
Forward pass interference. Winnipeg number 22. First down.
Burris got called on that play.
Yeah, the way the field's situated here, we really lost sight of them and couldn't see the penalty being called. But, you know, I thought there was a lot of contact down there, and I'm not surprised to see the flag thrown.
So it'll go for 36 yards for the Posse, setting Las Vegas up inside the Winnipeg 40.
Now, hey, that's enough.
.732 to go in the final quarter in Las Vegas. More pressure, and he's down. There is no flag that time.
Well, they could have called it again, but I think Jake Ireland and his crew is taking pity on the pounding that Preston Jones is taking, because they simply do not have enough competent blocking schemes right now to give him any kind of protection. You see he's on the run. He turns around at the end, thinks he might have to double reverse his field, and boom, oh, all of a sudden Randolph's in his face. I'm getting rid of this thing.
Randolph, Lyles, they surrounded him.
That's been a pretty easy night on defense for Winnipeg. I mean, they are very talented. There's no weak areas for a team to attack, and you know, they have just been coming harder and harder all night long.
And Las Vegas has had to make a couple of changes along the offensive line for this game due to injuries. So there's some inexperience up front trying to protect the quarterback and block for the running backs. Prince Wembley III makes the catch on second down. Errol Brown forcing him out, number 3. And there's still a lot of chatter down there on the sidelines. Unfortunately, difficult to see from here.
Yeah, you see Errol Brown from the middle coming a long way. Once again, it's that combination package. Bobby Evans comes on the blitz. Errol Brown has to take his man, and you know, once again, he's just got to cheat over a few more steps. You know, you don't like to give the quarterback a pre-read, but if he's not shading that way a little bit, I mean, that's just too far for him to come in that kind of a defensive scheme.
Now at the 21, 1st and 10, Las Vegas. Chance here to make it a little less embarrassing. And there's a marker down again from the end zone. Michael Stevens was the intended receiver, and Reggie Givens looked to be covering. We'll see what the infraction is.
Well, Reggie Givens came up and gave him the good jam, but he held on just a little bit too long, and when you're throwing to a guy...
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver. Winnipeg number 33. First down.
33 is Bobby Evans.
Well, I think they meant number 4, Reggie Givens. He was in the area, and he was the guy that created the contact. Bobby Evans gets the penalty, but I think they got the wrong guy.
Happens sometimes. They'll figure it out in the films when they check that out on Monday sometime. 6:01 to go. With the Bombers in front, 48-11. There's the touchdown for the Las Vegas Posse as Hill slides through on the draw. James Hill has the Posse's second touchdown of the ball game. And the Bombers still have a rather comfortable lead, folks, at 48-17.
Well, you watch this. Givens coming on the blitz. Mikolas right up. They're so intent on sacking the quarterback, they don't even see him hand off to James Hill, and he just kind of sneaks through everybody in the end zone. That's what happens when, you know, you're coming on that pass rush play after play. You just totally disregard the run, and Hill was able to sneak one in underneath them.
Posse will try for a 2-point conversion here with 5:32 to go. And not quite that time. Hill, the intended receiver again, number 34. Jones has engineered a couple of scoring drives. That's the second of the night. Preston Jones in relief of Anthony Cavillo. The Bombers have a 48-17 lead on the Las Vegas Posse.
Well, sometimes it's better to be luckier than good. Here's Stan Mikolas coming on the pass rush straight up here. Here comes Reggie Givens straight up here. Now here's James Hill. We're going to let it roll and then freeze it. You watch what happens. Winnipeg defense is so intent on rushing the passer that they just totally, there you go, disregard Hill. Sneaks right underneath both guys and then romps it into the end zone. But that's what happens when you're just thinking pass rush every time. I thought it was a pretty good call, and James Hill just kind of snuck in underneath everybody, and Las Vegas got their second touchdown.
As mentioned, a lot of Blue Bomber fans in town in Vegas, and they've been warming up for this for a while. Not many kickoff returns for the Blue Bombers tonight, but Blaze Bryant is stopped by Cedric Crawford. Winnipeg opened up a substantial lead, 17-0 at one stage, and really the Las Vegas Posse have been unable to respond to that lead. Dunnigan 364 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, and he got a slow start, Leaf. And Blaze Bryant ran for 94, or has run for 94 so far.
Well, Las Vegas at one point drew to 17-11. We thought we might have a game at that point, but then Winnipeg just slowly started to dominate. There you see the score as it stands right now with 5 to go.
And Keith and McCann back at the controls for the Blue Bombers with Dunnigan earning a well-earned rest. Blaze Bryant is out across the 40-yard line and stopped by David Hollis. Missed 7 games, and he's back and ready apparently to lead the Blue Bombers into the charge for top spot in the CFL East and into the Eastern Division playoffs.
Well, they travel to Baltimore in 2 weeks for a pretty serious showdown with the Baltimore CFLers, and that could possibly decide first place in the East, and I think Matt Dunnigan will be in full flight by the time he travels to Baltimore for that game.
This one pretty well wrapped up for Winnipeg. 2nd and 1. Blaze Bryant has the first down, and he's out near the 50, stopped by David Hollis. Baltimore CFLers will have an important date tomorrow against the Eskimos in Edmonton. And Vegas odds say Edmonton by 4.5 in that one. Looking at a rundown of the rest of the CFL this week. Calgary at Hamilton. Stampeders by 13.5. Sacramento at Shreveport. Do you think 13's enough?
That's one I wouldn't touch.
McCann takes a pretty good hit as he approached the 55-yard line. Jeff Sawyer, number 97. And the rest of the rundown. Baltimore and Edmonton, as mentioned. Eskimos favored by 4.5. Toronto at Ottawa. Ottawa by 1.5. That's a little...
Well, it's a big game for Ottawa. They trail Toronto by 2 points and for third place in the standings. So if they have any illusions of climbing higher in the standings, I don't think they can afford to lose that game to Toronto.
This is 2nd and 5. And Blaze Bryant out across the 50 with 2:49 to go in the final quarter. Tim Brodie on the tackle, number 39. 3-minute warning here in Las Vegas, and really it's been up for the Posse for some time. They should have been warned that the Bombers were coming to town. Matt Dunnigan, Cal Murphy, Tom Porras talking over on the sidelines. The game plan worked rather well offensively for Winnipeg. There's the score at 48-17, 2:45 to go.
Well, the key was Las Vegas was never able to put any pressure on Matt Dunnigan tonight, and you know Winnipeg does such a good job at moving the pocket around. Their quarterbacks are not stationary targets, and I think that's the key to their success.
Keith and McCann at the controls. Blaze Bryant over 100 yards tonight.
Yeah, I must admit, John, I thought this is the way they would start the game, where they just would come out and dominate on the ground, but they're choosing to finish up the game that way.
Bryant, another solid game for Winnipeg. Last week, 25 carries for 124 yards.
Well, I think sometimes how you measure an offense is how many options do they have. Well, they've got plan A throwing, and they've got plan B certainly running the football.
This is Chris Johnstone with 2:07 on the clock. And Johnstone is stopped short. The ball squirted loose, but they're whistling this down.
And how about Lawrence Hatch, 29, couple of interceptions, 5 now in 3 games for him. What an impact he has made with his presence in the lineup.
And on the other side, Anthony Blue, another long night for the Posse. Lots of hope as this season opened in Las Vegas. Posse off to a solid 2-0 start. But then some problems, and here's Wilcox open, but McCann overthrew him. 1:44 to go. Long football night in Vegas for the Posse. And the Bombers have had a nice, easy ride here.
Yeah, it should have had a free one right there. Coverage breakdown allowed Wilcox wide open. Keith and McCann simply overthrew him.
Hey, Clay.
Tough to figure out which team was the home team in Vegas tonight. The Bombers brought down a lot of supporters, and Vegas simply hasn't been supporting this football team. Highly unlikely that the Posse will be around Las Vegas next year in Canadian football.
Yeah, I can't see it. Only 2,300, if you can believe it, are here tonight.
Ron Meyer very distressed about it as we talked to him yesterday, saying there just was no way it was going to be successful next year.
Well, let's do some simple mathematics. 2,300 at $20 a ticket. What's that? 4,600 in revenue. Cost them $50,000 on their lease per game for this stadium. It's not hard to figure it out.
No.
Not a good situation here in Las Vegas. Definitely. Actually, you know, I hear some talk that they may move their final home game to another site, a test site for the final game.
That was not denied yesterday either, was it?
No, it certainly wasn't.
Here's McCant, and got it away to Blaze Bryant. McCant was going down, and somehow he got it away. Greg Tucker over to make the tackle with 1:11 on the clock.
Anthony Cavillo, tough night for him, knocked out early for Troy Westwood.
Easy night for Troy. Pumpkin.
Ah, the life of a kicker.
I wonder who Pumpkin is.
Kind of hang around and kick a ball every once in a while. Not a bad life, is it?
Well, when you're making them at the rate that Mr. Westwood is, over 75%.
What's up, man? Happy birthday,
yeah,
Stu.
There's my man, Harold Brown.
Oh, I can't do that no more. Word from the man, I can't do that no more.
He's had a good night again, and he's had a fine, fine season. Holland is nailed. His lid came loose. Jamie Holland.
Yeah, Greg Tucker's going to get called for unnecessary roughness, and well, I'm not so sure. I'd like to have another look at that. He's coming hard, and he's not sure he's going to make the tackle, or he's not going to make the catch. He's just following through on his play. I mean, it really doesn't mean a whole lot at this time and stage of the game.
No, I think the best thing to do is get this one over with.
No, he called something on Tucker, like, you know, after the ball was up in the air.
Jamie Holland appears to be okay. At least he's up.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Las Vegas 35.
First down.
Greg Tucker charged. Ron Meyer
Ball's not caught.
upset. So the Bombers are set up at the 15-yard line as a result of that infraction.
Maybe he ought
Keith and McCann would like to put one touchdown on the board beside his name, and Blaze Bryant gets the call. Bryant ahead to the 5-yard line. David Hollis, who's been called upon to make a lot of tackles tonight, is in on that one.
Yeah, the trouble for Las Vegas is their defensive backs have to make far too many tackles. You know, is that not great play by your front seven, or is that just Winnipeg dominating on their offensive line? I'm not quite sure at this point. I think it's a pretty soft defense they're playing against right now.
28 seconds remaining. Bombers with a chance to hit the end zone one more time. Second down, 1 to go. Blaze Bryant lost the ball and then had it bounce right back up into his hands. He missed the touchdown, but the Bombers will get another crack at it. With 17 seconds left, Cedric Crawford made the tackle. That's the kind of night it's been for the Las Vegas Posse.
There's Stan Mikowicz. He has had a heck of a game pushing the middle of that pocket back tonight. Funny, after 13 years, he still doesn't get tired doing it.
Solid group up front for the Bombers. Mikowicz alongside another veteran, Lloyd Lewis, and Kelly Rush, a relative newcomer to the Canadian Football League. 3rd and 1. Johnstone got the call. He'll have the first down with 13 seconds to go.
You just dropped your pants, Lizzie.
48-17 as it stands right now. The Blue Bombers all over the Las Vegas Posse from the very outset tonight. Solid work by the defense, and Matt Dunnigan engineered lots of scoring drives. Final play of the ball game. Ethan McCandon at quarterback, and instead of going for the end zone, he goes down on one knee to end a long night for the Las Vegas Posse.
Las Vegas 17.
Blue Bombers move into sole possession of top spot in the CFL's Eastern Division with a record of 11-4. Las Vegas drops to 5-10. A smile on Cal Murphy's face. Here we go with the TSN Turning Point, brought to you by Sony.
And tonight, John, it occurred in the second quarter with the Blue Bombers ahead 17-8. Dunnigan rolling, and he looks for his favorite target of the night. Gerald Alphen, a 9-yard touchdown reception. His first of 2 on the night, and not bad for Alphen. 6 touchdowns now in 2 games. That's our turning point for tonight.
A cash donation will be made to the Canadian Coaching Association for the training and development of amateur athletes on behalf of TSN and Sony. Sony, the new V-Series Trinitron. Here's the final. Matthew gets hot, and the Bombers win it 48-17 over the Las Vegas Posse. This is CFL Live. Final word in a moment.
CFL Live on TSN has been brought to you by the makers of Pepsi, who remind you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. And by Mark's Work Warehouse, clothes that work. Our final score from Las Vegas tonight, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers win their 11th of the season, 48-17 over the Las Vegas Posse. 5 different players at touchdowns in the game. Great distribution of the football by Matt Dunnigan in his return from the injury list. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time, Gord Miller, Vic Roeder, and Jamie Bowen with you from Ottawa with the Rough Riders and the Toronto Argonauts. And for Lee Pedersen, John Wells, and all of our people here in Vegas, I'm Peter Watts. Thanks for watching. Good night from LV.